so I don't want to miss anything. All right, so let me see. I've already done. I think this is like my consecutive. This is like number 6 podcasts I've done in the last week, which is between you and Alec.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting a little bit better every time. I'm trying to predict bring them just a little bit because the internal mic that I have, it's not as good as this directional mic. But anyways, check this out. I also took a little bit longer because I was like, you know what? I got a green screen. Let's use it. There it is. Where is it at? Right here. And look at this. What do you think?
Yes, man. I like that. Side by side. That's a great name, dude.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Actually, so I have my other I guess my website / my hobby or whatnot, MyManicMovies. And I was like, it's like when you hit me up and everything you wrote, I was like, oh my God, this guy's reading my brain. It's like, how did I do this? I think that's why you and I link up when we're on stage, because we kind of have the same patterns. I was like, dude, this is exactly. Yeah. And I was throwing the movies out there only because I got bored, and I was just like, dude, I watch a lot of movies, and I'm starting to realize that I can do something with this, just to, guide people. I actually have a friend of mine that she binges a lot of like docuseries and just movies like that, like just little murder mysteries and just cool little stuff like that. So she'll throw some links at me, and I'll be like, or some suggestions, and I'll watch them and be like, oh, she's not bad. She's right. Like she was able to help me like weed through a lot of that stuff. And I was like, well, what could I do with it? So now I have MyManicMovies, and then I was like, well, I got a section here for Ben, because this is actually I think like what we're doing here with this side by side. I want to hear what you got out of it, because basically for people that are listening, and I totally forgot it's a podcast style, is a YouTube and podcast style, but we did last week we got together and we were just talking about movies, and we're trying to figure out, what can we do with it? We like movies, we appreciate them, we tend to watch the same movies, we kind of just like movies in general. It doesn't matter if it's from 1950s till now. We're just trying to figure out what still drives us, what motivates us. And we came to Eddie Murphy, and we're going to compare 2 movies of his that we both saw this past week, and we're going to talk about them. And those movies are The Nutty Professor, and that was I think with 96 that was made.
Yep, 96.
And then Norbit in 2007. So without further ado, we are getting started. What do you think?
So, Nutty Professor, man. I remember watching that when I was a kid. It totally holds up. Like, I feel like it's a solid movie, and where I really feel like it thrived was in the clump scenes where you had his entire family, where you do have Eddie Murphy playing multiple roles. And, it's a dinner table, so you're able to kind of cut it a little bit differently, like you can zoom in on, the dad or the mom and all this other stuff, and then still be okay, and man, I think it just works. You have his family that just kind of overpower him, the Sherman Klump character, and they just kind of steal the show. And I think that honestly is where the Nutty Professor really kind of differs from Norbit. You have a strong, like, central family, a wholesome, loving family. They may be farting at the table, but still, I mean, you can relate to that family that he has. And I think that's really where the difference is between the two. With Norbit, you have, I mean, in my opinion, man, the plot was kind of everywhere. Like, or maybe not even everywhere, but it wasn't as a fun adventure as the Nutty Professor was. You have that conflict with Buddy Love, whereas in Norbit, like, are you going to go cheat on your wife with this, girl that you had a really hard feelings for whenever you were a kid? I mean, I don't know. I think as a kid watching Norbit, it was a lot funnier just because you had a lot of that slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
You have a lot of that, and just, I think as we get older, like, you just look for a little bit more in movies rather than just something that made you laugh. So what I kind of did right before we got on here is I went and looked at Rotten Tomatoes, just to kind of get the scores from over there. Nutty Professor had a 64% score with the critics, and the audience had a 44% score, which I thought was kind of funny. You figured the audience would like it a little bit more, even though the critics, I mean, 64 is pretty good for a movie, I think, as far as Rotten Tomato goes. Rotten Tomatoes for the critics on Norbit, 9%.
Oh god.
Not totally surprising, but what was surprising, the audience gave it 53%, which is higher than Nutty Professor.
Oh god. You know what? Let me interrupt real quick. I feel like I don't want to jump in too fast. I feel like I feel like let's. It's my fault. I kind of just threw us in here. I'm like, let's warm up a little bit. I wanna. How are you doing? How was your week, man?
Oh, doing great, man. Doing great. It's been a nice chill week, honestly. Like, work hasn't been too crazy. Really, that's all I got going is to work. Just been coming home and playing video games with my girl.
That's a dream, ain't it? If you crack the code, anybody listening, that's the code. You find in your relationship things you have in common and things you don't have in common, so you can enjoy your alone time. That's cool. When you were watching these movies, I think when I asked you, you were watching the Nutty Professor first, right? The Norbit.
Yes.
All right. So when you watched the Nutty Professor, was it just like a regular day? Was it just like kind of like, oh, I should watch it now, or?
So let's see. When did I watch the Nutty Professor? It had to have been on, I think, maybe Friday night, Friday or Thursday night. One of the two. I honestly can't remember. I think it was Friday night. Yeah, I had gotten off of work, and I knew I needed to get these movies watched, and I was like, let me just go ahead and watch the Nutty Professor. I knew that was going to be the first one on the list. I already had it available and everything like that. Norbit I watched last night, actually, Saturday night for everybody listening. And yeah, I had off yesterday, so I knew I needed to get that knocked out before we talked. Truth be told, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator, but I do get stuff done.
Oh, that's cool. No, that's what I kind of happy you brought that up. It kind of felt like homework, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Because I was like, dude, I actually get to since I've been kind of podcasting, I'm getting the hang of it now, and I don't know if I'm doing it right. I just feel comfortable doing it. And I'll say this, that with like, it was kind of felt like homework, but it didn't, because I was enjoying this. I'm like, there's gonna be a high payoff at the end. Might not be any money involved, and it might not be like, but there's gonna be a high payoff. And I think I got a bigger payoff at this because it was actually the reason I asked you when you're watching it, because I feel like if you watch a movie and you're in a weird mood or you get distracted a lot, it really breaks you out of it. And I feel like I got lucky because I didn't watch the Nutty Professor till Friday night. I purchased it Thursday night, but I couldn't watch it till Friday. So when I actually when I saw it, I totally forgot about a lot of just in the moment humor, and it's like, now that I'm an adult, I don't even know if I say young adult anymore. I'm just an adult. I'm adulting. I'll say that my mind is different now, and the way I see things, and is being a father, and you're trying to, all right, let me see. And that's another reason why I really like to watch. I want to kind of get movies out, because I want people that don't really have the time to watch a movie, or they don't really want to invest it. Some people don't want to watch a lot. I watch everything my son watches. I'm not going to let him watch something that I haven't seen. Even the kid cartoons, I watch everything. I'm a cartoonist, or not cartoonist, but animator. But anyways, I was when I was watching it, I just started I got to sit down and just focus on the movie, and I kind of got too deep into it. The scene, because not even like when Chappelle came out, that part, I was like I was losing it. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, he got me. He's getting me because he's playing a slapstick character of a comedian, and he's a professional comedian. Yeah. But then it goes like, so first of all, you have the comedian Dave Chappelle attacking Eddie Murphy as Sherman Klump, and he's a big, Fatso's in the big character. And then he goes back to that date, and he just totally flips it on him. But it wasn't Buddy Love versus Reggie. I saw it as it's kind of like a passing of the torch kind of thing, where it was kind of like Dave Chappelle is picking on a character of Eddie Murphy, but then Eddie Murphy shows up and puts Dave Chappelle in his place. But it's kind of like, I just looked at it and I was like, okay, I gotta rewatch this. I literally rewatched the scene because I was like, dude, this is so funny. And this the way because you know, I know you've done stand up and I've gone on stage, it gives you like this feeling of like, oh, that guy's an idiot, but people like him. And maybe he is funny. And then for the 90s humor, that kind of was a big thing, getting snapped on. And that's what Dave Chappelle's character says. You snapping on me? Like, it's true. Like, people used to do stuff like that. Or I don't know if they still do. You know, even Wilmer Valderrama had that show, Your Mama. And it's basically what snapping is. And it was just, I was just like looking at that, like, this is so funny. And then I started really I tried to look at the movie as it was, because I don't want to be looking for things or any issues. But just right off the bat, the Richard Simmons character that Eddie Murphy plays, and then not only plays him in the beginning, he plays him throughout the whole movie. Kind of like there's a lot of parts there. The Nutty Professor has a lot of like he daydreams. Sherman Klump daydreams a couple times, and that motivates him. Like just the way they tell a story in this movie, it feels very smooth. It feels very just the story in general. It doesn't. It's not a whole lot to it. I mean, he finds his motivation because even when he is working out. And you see him in the beginning, he's slow, and then all of a sudden he's no hands behind my back, you know. And you start being like, dude, he's building. That's cool because in reality, now that I'm older, I was in 7th grade I was in 6th grade when I saw this movie. So you know, and I was a child when I first saw it, and then now as an adult, I realized, oh, it's hard to lose weight. Oh, it's hard. It's a challenge for everything. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, that's a sweet Robocop shirt.
Thank you.
That is a sweet.
Shout out to Loot Crate. Maybe we'll get a sponsor one day.
Dude, I'll put that in there. Dude, that is awesome. That is nice. As a designer, I keep looking at that. I was like, I should compliment him before I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, he's wearing a badass Robocop t-shirt. It's pretty sweet. You're gonna probably post up there or something. But anyways, when you see the characters as they interact with each other, I'm like, all right. And you said the scene, the dinner scene. God, I forgot about the brother. I forgot how, like, see, what you need is you need to eat, get a burn. You don't work out. I don't work, but because there's also like I've had family members that are like that they work out but they're still out of shape, and it's kind of like they're giving me advice, and you're like, oh, okay, but it's like you really, I think the performance that Eddie Murphy brings, I think he captures it. I think he really sells it, and I think the fact that like as an actor and seeing like how would you come across. The mom, when he's sitting at the table and he's playing with the son's hair, that little gesture, just like, God, that's like good acting. Like he really, really sells it for us. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did Coming to America. He did multiple characters.
Yes, I think I was actually looking at that. I think he did 4 in that film. This one and the second Nutty Professor, he did 7 in this film, and he did 8. In the Nutty Professor. That's a lot, man. Yeah. So, and to be fair, I think one in the Nutty Professor 2 was like a young version of his dad and his dad. So
that's true.
It's they counted that. But yeah, no, it really is crazy just like how many characters he embodies and just how well he does each one. Like you can see that it's Eddie Murphy, but it just feels like a different character.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah, if you really get, and that's what I wanted to say, because I saw it at night, and I think I saw it like at 10:30, and I went up to like midnight, and as I was watching it, I was just like, God, it's aged pretty well. There's some scenes that there's some little the CGI parts that kind of go off a little bit, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all, and I think just the Dave Chappelle part again, like just like it has these little layers. It's Fatzilla. Like, it's just like, God, like that part, like there's just little characters. So the way I watched the movie, it's kind of like you're in the Nutty Professor movie, but then like you get these little stories that they're still part of it. But it's like, it just takes you, takes you on a little journey, and it gives you another angle of, like I said, motivation and inspiration for the character. But for you get to see the development of the character, and you get to see him change. And it's just one person portraying 7 to 8 people. That's tough. And then to have a production, like a multi-million-dollar production company on you, and you have to wake up for early to have 4 or 5 or 7 hours of prosthetics. That's a lot. That's a lot to do. I don't know how long it took them to do that scene, But as a filmmaker myself, and if I had to do that scene, like it would be the way they did it. Because now CGI would help you out, but I don't think I have that much experience. So I'd be able to play it off. I'd do more of a in the camera shooting like they did, because they do give you that sense. Oh, that's what I want to say. They did have some stand-ins, and
Yeah.
to like in the back of the head and whatnot, and that helps create the scene. But it's kind of funny because it's not even the back of the head is not Eddie Murphy, and it doesn't feel like it because it really your eyes are engaged to him. You're not looking at the other character. If it's not his eyes, it's not going. Jada Pinkett Smith, I was like, wow. I remember her being like just sticking out in this movie. I remember her just like, wow, she's beautiful. I was like, that's cool. But then her character is very she's a smart, not ditzy girl. I like that. It was more like she was more attracted to Sherman about his intelligence, not just his looks. When Buddy Love comes in, he has. Oh, I honestly think I might have maybe been making this up, but I feel like he was eating so much and he was moving around so much because I think there might have been a scientific thing to it where Sherman has a lot of energy because he eats a lot and he's big. So when he gets small, I feel like he still has to burn off that energy. So the whole scene, the whole montage, I'm so excited. It's just like I just feel like he has to keep moving, and all that food he eats like 6 ribeyes or steaks, and So it's just like, okay, so now that gets me thinking like that to be that character, the hey, buddy love him, buddy, but like he just has. So I'm thinking that's the angle. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's just an alter ego. But now when you see the performance, I'm like, man, he really separates yourself. You really feel like Sherman Klump is an actual person. Like you feel like it's an actual person. And to me, I was
and
like,
so is Buddy Love.
Mhm.
Like it's like it is an alter ego, but it's like honestly, man, I forgot. It just almost seems like Buddy Love is a little bit more rude, and the best way to put it, like in just the simplest terms, like he just there's something different from him and Sherman. Like it's not just a physical thing. It's the mental thing as well. Like just how he acts and how I just don't see Sherman. You don't. Well, and like I said, I just don't feel like you would change personality wise like that just so fast.
I think
Just because you lose a lot of weight.
I think, but I've noticed this, and that's just because I guess I might be older, and I noticed from once you graduate high school, some people gain weight, some people lose weight. I did notice with my friends that, or the people I was close with that did lose a lot of weight, they did get at a younger age. You do get a little overconfident, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying that I think that's the angle they use for Buddy Love was the overconfidence that comes off as arrogance because he literally lost, I don't know, 300-400 pounds overnight. So if you were to lose that like in 4 or 5 years, you would have more of a humbleness to you, where you feel like I had to put the time in, and I feel that they really captured that. Like, look at me, it's a miracle crew. I don't need that. I think maybe that's what I kind of I gathered from it. I gathered that he just had all this confidence, all this energy. I mean, let's not even we haven't even talked about the actual movie as in like the graphics and the ways they shock. I mean, he goes, I can see my dick. I can see like that part. I was like, oh, forgot about that. Like, and then the beginning part too with the gerbils or the guinea pigs, and that goes in the pants. As soon as I remembered that, and I go, hey, that girl gets excited, and I realized I was like, wait a minute, this movie it has a couple scenes that are kind of like not bad, but they're just they wouldn't be made now. But back then was like they're PG-13 scenes, but they're funny. Like I don't know why you would take them out or anything, but that kind of movie. I think the fact that it has I'm also finding out what movies that I love or movies that I saw when I was younger. They do have a nostalgia factor with me, so I have to kind of remove that. But man, it is hard. Also, just the fact that the Nutty Professor is just like it's a simple story. There's not much to it. It's basically Eddie Murphy being all those characters and how they interact with each other for a short amount of time and how they influence him. It feels like that movie was in that timeline of the movie was like a week. And then, you have the Larry Miller character, the dean, so to speak, that's on his ass. And they like the stereotype of Larry Miller is funny like that.
Yeah.
Like he's the dad in 10 Things I Hate About You. Like he's got like a firm, even in like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, he comes out and he's like selling like hair or something. And he even says, I play stern fathers figures in movies. Like it's like the authority figure, but even that character. So it really helps. it really helps Eddie Murphy really know how to, I feel like, to go somewhere like, I gotta be the opposite of this guy. Because even with the two comedians, he's mocking Dave Chappelle, going ah. Like if you did that at a stand-up, like you'd have to be able to steal the audience from the comedian. And the fact that you see the comedian how powerful he is with just using little jokes, and then Eddie Murphy calls him out of it the second time, and it just deflates him. And then the stupid ass he even takes his hat off and goes, "Oh shit, Locks!" like like it's just like he's like, "Oh, you don't know, I know how to kick your ass." Like, see, I like the dialogue in the movie. I like the way a lot of the stuff they talk about. I like the way they like there's not like to say no consequence, but the flow of the randomness of the movie. I think that's what helps me out. I also think that the quality is really high in this movie. The quality is really nice. Oh man, it's even the part where the TA or the student, he's at the screen, and he looks down and he sees Professor Clump credit card, and he's like, "What? That's not Professor Clump, that guy." And he runs after him and gets stuck in the car. Like even that scene, that's like it's just a little scene, but that's how they segue the character into the new part of the story. And then that's how they try to figure it out, and you start finding out the problems, and they can't sustain the two lives together, and ultimately making the right decision, and it works out for him. But the way you go through the journey and the way you see it, I like it. I think it's just Eddie Murphy. I want to say Coming to America, he was able to be Eddie Murphy in that, and I think he did it again this time. And I think that's why, because if I'm not mistaken, Coming to America is like, I want to butcher, like 1988 or something, 87. So it's about 10 years, something like that. So 10 years later. So he's had a little bit of practice. But yeah, I think all in all, just being able to show individualism in paying so many characters on screen, it shows a lot, and I like it. I think I can say a lot. I like it. But.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm right there with you, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Like, I had forgotten just how fun it was. Like, it was a fun ride getting to where he started to where he ended. And like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I laughed so hard during that comedy scene. Like, whenever I was younger and actually saw this movie, like, I'm sure a lot of that stuff went right over my head, you know. But yeah, it was fun seeing Dave Chappelle, like you said, like he was handing off a torch to him, man. And like you said, man, you just mentioned he got to play himself in that point in time. Like, that was Eddie Murphy, like, roasting Dave Chappelle's character, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that part was just like, when I started looking at it, I started looking deep into it. Like, that is what's going on here. I mean, I don't know if they planned that, but I just felt like that's what I was able to catch on to. And I thought that was just like, I thought, I don't know, it's just so funny because we see what Chappelle became, the god comedian that he became. And then to first see him from the beginning part when he came into that, I don't know if that was one of his first roles, but he did well. And I feel like there's a little bit more to the story. Oh, but also just the little, I mean, they make fun of weight loss, but the way they do it, I mean, they don't like do it gross. They don't really make fun of it. They kind of just show you, like, he gets on top of Jada Pinkett Smith and she falls in the sand, but it's a dream, so that helps him motivate it. Even when he farts and they light it on fire, it blows up. His dad's proud of him. Yeah. That's like the only time you see it. That's my boy. It's like, wow. Like, you start like that. Your dad, it gets your environment you were raised, but you're still able to do it. So you kind of root for Sherman, and you kind of get to that point, because I think when I was younger, I was waiting to see the Eddie Murphy Buddy Love character. And you get to see that energy. And now that I'm older, I'm more rooting for Sherman. Like, I'm like, nah, yeah. I want him. I guess you get that more, like, all right, how does he? And it's cool because it doesn't ever, it's more Sherman Clump throughout the whole journey. And then just a little bit of Buddy Love sprinkled in there. And I like that because that makes it, because that's actually the way Eddie Murphy looks. And he's not stealing the scene. He's not stealing the scene from himself. That's how freaking insane this is. Like he's not. He knows. I don't know if he knows or if he's doing it. Maybe I feel like sometimes people just go with it and it works out, and some people know, but he's trying not to steal the scene from himself. Like think about that. That's kind of like
It's pretty crazy.
that's another level. That's some level stuff there. Like, oh, who outperformed you? Me, my other guy that I created. He's way better than this other guy I created, and I can't help it. Like he's that good, and yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it right here. I'm not a big Rotten Tomato guy. I try not to get too much influence on movies through other people's because you have to go through it. I think anything in general. I don't really like asking questions. I just go and do it. They don't ask my questions. Be like, okay, I didn't get it. But Rotten Tomato gave it. So what is the 64% tomato meter?
I think that's just critics. So critics coming in like Hollywood Reporter, Vanity Fair, stuff
I'm
like
definitely
that.
not gonna like that. The one on the left number is not good for me. So
Yeah.
from the right, the 44% audience score, I'll go by that because even what is this user rating 602,000? Is that how many people voted? I mean,
I'm fairly certain. Yeah. Honestly, normally what I do is I'm on IMDb, and I think it's different from Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's like metric score or something like that. I'm not entirely too sure, but that's normally where I just wanted to kind of get an idea of where people's thoughts were on each movie.
Yeah.
Just kind of outside of our own. But yeah, no, that's I do kind of like looking at that, honestly. Like, not necessarily before I see a movie, but I do look like knowing where other people think the movie is.
That's true. I don't mind. You guess you're right. I'll say this. I don't let it influence me, but I like to know.
Same.
I don't let it decide my decision one way or another, but I will let it know. And you know what? I will say that I'm happy that was it the IMDb? I forgot international.
It's oh gosh.
Yeah, database. I know the DB, but I remember
Internet Movie Database.
There you go. I remember like 2004, 2005. I was just sitting down like, I wish there was a website and then I didn't think like, why don't you just make your own one? But at the same time, like I was just super young. But once it was happening, I was on here. And I never realized that it's so functional. Like it has a lot to offer. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I just noticed you have this area in here in IMDb that talks about that it won an Oscar. Nutty Professor won an Oscar in 1997.
Whoa! I did not. I see. I was looking. I looked at that all day. What I like looking at, honestly, at IMDb is the trivia of each movie. I think that is the most interesting part of
true.
each one, and like the goofs and stuff like that. Like I don't know why, but I really like looking at that in movies.
Well, it makes sense because guess who? I don't know if you know this guy, but guess who made the prosthetics for that movie? None other than Rick Baker. This guy has done a lot of movies. I mean, just on the IMDb page alone, he's done Men in Black, Planet of the Apes, Wolfman, and that's recently. He's done a lot of stuff from the 80s. I don't even believe the 70s too. What is he? Aliens, I believe he did. What did he do?
Oh wow!
What did he do? No, he did a lot. Let's see. He did a lot of stuff. I mean, well, no, I think Stan Winston did that one. I don't know. I gotta get my guys. I gotta get my guys cleaned up. I need to work and educate myself on this. I'm sorry, people. I will work. I will work on this.
See, this is why I think we are going to make a great team because see, what I look at is the directors and the writers. I think that whenever I look at a movie, man, and I'm like, okay, so why did it go this way, or what was kind of the influence here? So I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but I think it's Tom Shadyac. Probably is how you say it. Like I said, I'm not entirely too sure, but just some other notable mentions on his directorial list. All right, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. All right, the first one, not the second. Liar Liar. You also have Patch Adams. All right. And Bruce Almighty.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can kind of see where there's a pattern there.
He was a producer on 8 Simple Rules. He produced the Accepted. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. I know we're kind of on Nutty Professor, and like I said, this is our first go around. So do you want me to kind of just wait till we get to the Norbit to go on?
Dude, we are improv actors. We take it as we go. So, whatever make it up. We'll go into Norbit. I'm just gonna say before you get started, I think you're gonna see my opinion on it, and you're gonna be like scratch your head a little bit, but go for it.
Hey, man, that's why we're here, honestly. So the director is Brian Robbins on Norbit. Some other notable movies that he directed: Varsity Blues,
Beautiful. I love it. That's yes.
Good Burger.
Good.
Yeah. All right. And here is something that is kind of interesting. This is the reason I wrote these two down is because of the sheer fact it's Meet Dave and
I
A
have not
Thousand
seen that one.
Words.
I will. We talked
Okay.
about those.
Yeah, exactly, man. And we mentioned those, and like I said, both Eddie Murphy movies. So I think that's interesting. You know, whenever I kind of look at this stuff too, I wonder, did they have like a 3-movie deal or something like that
Yeah,
with
you gotta
these
look into
two
that.
people? You know, and that's what kind of that's where my brain goes. But also, um, writers of Norbit were Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy. I just saw that.
Um, which it almost kind of makes sense that that would happen. You know, they're just writing. You would think another movie that Eddie Murphy wrote was Harlem Nights. He also directed that, and honestly, man, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. It did not get the best praise from critics or
Harlem Nights.
anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was not critically acclaimed at
I
all.
would I would not even like put it past a critic to even know what a great movie is. That's a great movie.
True.
Those
I
back then,
thoroughly,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
That movie is great. I wasn't aware of this, but one of my ex coworkers from the steakhouse, he's 10 years older than me, so he has a lot more. I lived in LA for a long time, so he has a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge on certain things that I was a little too young for. But he had told me that Eddie Murphy was so happy to make Harlem Nights. Like he got a lot of people were like believing in him. He had this budget, and then he finally got to work with Richard Pryor, and that was like his big like I can't believe I could do this. And then he found out that Richard Pryor was a pain to work with on the set and all that stuff. So it's really cool to hear kind of stuff like that where you're like, man, you do you want to meet your idol? Do you want to work with your people you look up to? And you know, when I looked it up right now, I was like, who did write Norbit? And it was like Charlie Murphy and Eddie Murphy. I was like, okay, now I have something else that gave me more to talk about. So
Yeah.
I well, so what was your come away, your takeaway from Norbit?
Man, honestly, dude, now as an adult, Norbit is not nearly as funny as it was whenever I was a kid. Um, it was, don't get me wrong, it had its moments. There was little things that I really enjoyed. Uh, but as a whole, man, I guess really what it boils down to, it didn't suck me in like the Nutty Professor did.
Yeah.
Um, it was one of those movies that I remember watching whenever I was younger, and just like I thought it was hilarious. And now I look at it, and it's not even. Honestly, it was a little sad. I think there could have been maybe tweaks in that department to where it wasn't just like, oh, you got dropped off in an orphanage, and then he lost his best friend, and then he married this terrible woman, and then now he's getting cheated on in this relationship with this terrible woman. And it just kind of, it just, I don't know, man. It did not, it wasn't hitting the notes that I was wanting to, honestly. There, like I said, funny scenes. I think there was a lot of humor in there, but it just wasn't in a nice fluid motion, I
Yeah.
guess is the best way to put it. It just wasn't. It had all the elements there. It just, in my opinion, just wasn't put together. The pieces weren't in the right places
I get you.
for me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, man. Like I said, it's a movie that you can't help. Like, how you doing? Like,
Dude, how you
like,
doing?
it's gonna be something that you quote. It's one of those, man. Like, another thing that kind of caught my attention was the music in it, man. Like, it had Chain Hang
Yes.
Low and
Yes.
stuff like
Yes.
that too. That was like, I don't know, man. I feel like that really just puts it in a specific era, and it just almost kind of confines. Whereas the Nutty Professor was like an orchestra. Like, I feel like that in a movie really kind of helps. I don't know. Me and music with movies, man, I could go on for a while. I think that music makes a movie, and it makes or breaks how a movie flows, and how you react to the movie. That's why you don't see a lot of big blockbusters having just like regular soundtracks. Like it's actual, an orchestra or something.
Yeah, the score really helps.
It really does. And thank you, the score. And I think there's something to that.
I think I think you're absolutely right. I kind of like that timepiece because it kind of brought me back. My take on Norbit, I I kind of the only let me start off with the I'll finish with that. I'll say that I laughed a lot. I think, and I'm just gonna say this. I'm only gonna bring this up once. I think it's because the whole what we were talking about, like social media being toxic and being negative, and the whole environment right now, everyone just blah, 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 blah. I think this movie really helped me because it's just stupid. It's just stupid fun. I laughed my ass off. And also because now that I'm almost 40, in 4 years. But anyways, like I'm older, so I have my kid, and I think about the Respucia character because I once heard someone tell me it shouldn't be called Norbit, it should be called Respucia. It's more about her. But then I was like, as I watched it, I was like, nah, hold on. Let me get in there. She's kind of an antagonist. She's not the main antagonist. She's just a little character in there. She doesn't stick out that much. It's the fact that, and you kind of like Norbit kind of does his thing. But let me tell you this: I had a horrible relationship when I was in high school. So that kind of, the girl was pretty, but it all depends about the inside. And I don't want to bash anybody, but it was a pretty hard relationship. I didn't know any better, so I had been Norbit in my life, exactly like kind of like that. Not the getting married thing, and not really. The brothers were kind of cool with me, but it's kind of like as I started watching this, I started going back to that and the music and everything, and I was just like, oh wow, I'm laughing at this because it's something that I can totally. I was Norbit. And the fact that you grow up, you become a man, and you grow some cojones, and you start back, and you see what and you're like, hell yeah. So then I started rooting for him. Even though I remember watching the movie at the theater when I left, I was kind of like, why wasn't it haha funny? Why didn't I like pee my pants? It's Eddie Murphy. But now that I'm back and watching it, and now that I'm seeing him, one thing I took away from this movie, I think, and I didn't even know that they wrote it till I looked it up while we were waiting. I just kind of put it up, and I was like, oh crap, I just noticed Eddie Murphy wrote this. Now that we watched it, one, it's a lot of stereotypes. I think a lot of people will get offended at the stereotypes, but if you look past that, there's a bunch of gems there. There's a lot of, like, I think what they're trying to show you is how they've advanced in technology from 96 to 97, because there's a lot of scenes in there where they interact, and they're crossing, they're hitting, they're touching. So a lot of scenes like that. In the Nutty Professor, there are more still shots because of technology, they're limited. And I think the fact that the Norbit, so as a filmmaker, I'm looking at it and I'm putting that in a case. So I'm kind of trying to focus on the story, but the more and more I look at that, I'm like, they did a good job. And all the little stupid things, like the getting on the slide, driving and hitting the car, hitting the dog. Yeah. The end, everybody stands up to his future. The guy has the pizza pallet, the old lady with swinging the pots. Like, it's just stupid. And you're like, well, I think people taking everything too serious these days. I think everybody has to be strong and independent, and everybody's forced, but no one knows really how to. But when you watch something silly and you watch something that's goofy, it's funny. Like, it doesn't have to make sense. And this is actually a story. And I started seeing his performances, and then he plays Mr. Wong, and I'm like, damn, he's playing an Asian dude, and he's just kind of, that's Eddie Murphy in there. Like, it's the makeup, but he kind of looks a little off, but it's him performing, and he does a good job. I took away more of the culture stuff that I relate to, where I was like, oh, I've been in that situation. Oh, that's funny. I see. I get it. I wouldn't say it's like one of the top movies that I'd watch, but looking at that tomato meter at a 9 and a 53 audience, I understand why the 53% audience. It's silly. It's a slapstick movie. I basically thought it was an Adam Sandler movie with Eddie Murphy. That's what I wrote.
That's a good way to put it. Honestly, that is wow. Yeah, dude, I like that a lot.
I got in trouble because I make a little too much noise because the stupid scene, all the scenes with Respucia where she hits something, she's strong, and they animate it, and it shows like she jumps in she jumps in the bounce house, and the kids just start flying out. And then right there you got the Cat Williams and the Eddie Griffin characters. They're just sprinkled in. They're like, oh, it's raining white women. My dreams are my prayers are answered. And then Eddie Griffin, better got the way. I wish for Cadillac. Yeah. It's just like these pimps. They're so silly. Like but and even their acting, they plan off each other. And as they play off each other, it really like there's little subtle things that they do. You don't have to oversell yourself as an actor. Sometimes your partner helps you out a lot. You guys just make the scene together. I saw a lot in that. I saw a lot of the movie. It's aged pretty well too. It's already, it's pretty, was it 13 years old? So I'll say that it's aged pretty well, not as bad as it should have aged. It's aged pretty good. I think that the more I'm becoming a better filmmaker, or more understanding the process of filmmaking, I'd rather say that. Understanding that, I start to see where Eddie Murphy can be in his career by then. 2007, he already been 20 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So I can see him really being like, let's try something new. Let's do something else. And this is totally stretching. This is totally out the box. Critics, as we're finding out, who are these critics? That's why I prefer to listen to you. I prefer to listen to what you have to say about something. Your opinion means more to me than anybody that I read online. If I were to meet somebody and they were just like, agree with me, great. If I meet somebody and they don't agree with me, great. I like that. But it's cool that we get to discuss this. I think that Norbit it's a little over people's heads. If you like, you don't mess with the Zohan, it falls under that umbrella. It's exactly a version of, and I think Don't Mess with the Zohan came out. You Don't Mess with the Zohan came out like 2007 as well. And I think, because even the same thing, when I walked out of that movie, I was like, I did not like that movie. It was supposed to be ha funny. I think it was 4 or 5 years later, I saw it again, and I could not stop quoting the damn movie. The PP Hon is like, no, it's fizzy bubbly, you just start like, I start watching it. I'm like, now I get it. I think it's just I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I was born in '84 when the first one came out. I didn't really watch them until I was like, 6. So it takes some time for something to get to you and for you to be opening to it. And I think when I went to go watch those movies and I didn't get what I wanted, I'm not gonna bash it. Maybe I didn't understand it. Now that like I said, and maybe I might have been sensitive. I might have been watching it, like, Norbit, you hope you do good, because that used to be me. But now when I look back at it, and I just laugh at things I used to do when I was younger. I was like, well, I was trying to figure it out, and this movie is how do you figure it out? How do you get there? And even the little touch of Cuba Gooding Jr., like that handsome, suave character, and then he's a freaking gold digger. Like, it's just like they got it right. The three brothers crack me up. Like the way they work together.
Turkey ass.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That one always got me too. Like every time.
Oh, if nobody was here, then the turkey ass. I lost it because he was forced to eat that. And then he still eats it on his own. You see what I'm saying? They forced him to eat the turkey ass, and now he eats it on his own. Like, he doesn't even. That's just the way Norbit. He's kind of predictable. But even he's dancing. He's like, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. He's I forget her name. That beautiful actress. She takes the what?
Sandy Newton is her real name.
Yes.
Kate is
Kate in the movie. Yes, yeah. She's beautiful. She's perfect. A perfect counterpart for Eddie Murphy as Suspicia. But before I forget, even the part where the guy at like going to the splash or going to the water park, I do that nowadays. I never did. I did that when I was a child. I used to go to the ghetto one with my mom and my brothers, and it was just something you did. As an adult, I never really went. I don't really like tubing too much. I don't really like being in the elements, but I have a kid that we like to take to the water park. So we go to the water park now, and that hit me right there because I have gotten messed up on a slide at the water park because it's too high, and if you kind of just lift a little bit, you get lift. And it like catapulted me from the 4th floor down to the 1st floor, and I landed on my chest and my stomach, and I was like, oh, I don't ever want to do that again. So when I saw Respucia like fall through, it's really, I've had to learn, because I learned you have to dip down, so it'll pick you up. And I've seen other people, when I was watching people, I was like, oh, that's what happens. It's also heavier dudes. I fall into the heavier dude section at the water park. So I noticed that. So when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, that's happened to me. Like, I know, I've gotten hurt on a water slide. It's a weird, like, it's not like you're not rooting for her, but you can feel for the actual character. Oh, and that's what I wanted to say. I started to kind of feel for Respucia with the with her like insecurities, her, you know, I'm in control, because it really feels like Norbit to her is like a puppy.
Yeah.
Every time, I don't know if they had that. I haven't done any information outside the movie, but every time that she goes to the car, he's in there like a little dog, and then she complains about the car seat being too big, and he's just like, well, maybe it's well, the car, you know. And I think that's, I started getting a little bit like, because even if you ever gotten jealous in a relationship, that's, you can kind of see that. I think they capitalized that really well. I think the fact that, you know, it's funny, I can't even see myself, so I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. I think the fact that they were able to kind of horn in on that. Now, side by side, comparing the movies, what do you think?
Side by side, oh man. So, like you said, I think that there was a lot of wanting to kind of progress this prosthetic, thing they had going on with the Nutty Professor, and just kind of see what limits they could push there. Golly, man. Okay, so are we like picking one or the other? Is that what we're doing side by
Um,
side, or
I just called it side by side because we basically are comparing two movies. I didn't want
yeah,
to call it compare. I was like, yeah, side by side. I think there might be something else out there. This is just our second meet. So, but I'll say, I was just thinking, like, when you're watching the movies next to each other, do they hold up? Are they Eddie Murphy movies at that? Do you go in, like, would you recommend it to somebody? Like, if I were to recommend Nutty Professor, I wouldn't say anything. I would just say you should watch the Nutty. Do you like Eddie Murphy? Yeah, watch it. Watch the Nutty Professor.
okay,
If I had to tell somebody, hey, do you want to watch Norbit? Okay, if you're gonna watch Norbit, you're gonna have to have this mind hat. I don't want you to
yeah,
think, you know, because also I'm totally, any movie I watch, I'm watching to the end. I don't care how bad it is. I gotta learn. But I have that mindset. I don't want to have to tell somebody, like, I mean, I don't want to tell somebody, like, yeah, watch this one. They're like, that was a horrible movie. So that's the big difference.
okay,
I would say Nutty Professor to recommend. I just say it's Eddie Murphy movie, playing multiple characters. Watch it. And there's other one,
yeah,
Norbit. I would say watch it, but you have to kind of fall into the world. If you can't fall into that world, or you don't have that mindset, don't be bad, don't be mad, don't be sad. Just kind of see if you can kind of get the slapstick humor of it. But
yeah.
I like the deeper level of it.
You know, and honestly, man, like it's funny that you kind of mentioned all the things that you really enjoyed about Norbit. I think whenever I was watching it this last time, I might have had just a little bit of a negative bias there, honestly, and just kind of I was almost. I think maybe I really kind of like the way that you were looking at the movies. I might have went into it thinking like, oh, because I had watched it recently, and I was just like I wasn't impressed, and I think I went in with the same mindset of just like, oh, this is just a goofy ride, like not a waste of an hour and a half or anything, but maybe I just went into it with a little bit too much of a negative vibe towards it. Um, because what's funny is whenever you mention these things, like I kind of look back on it fondly. Um, yeah, huh?
Yeah, kind of. I like the way you're thinking about it. Like, I didn't. That's why I
Yeah,
said I think I might get a little nail scratcher there, because I mean, really, like, we have to go back and watch these movies that you watched growing up. We have a lot of time on our hands. We've always had time on our hands. I don't want to get stuck in the past. So I want to know what the past did that was well, and I can move forward. But also, I'm
yeah,
finding out now as an adult, like, that wasn't a bad movie. Like, even back then,
no,
when I watched it, I was like, it's okay. But now I'm like, oh, I get the layers, because I'm an adult, and oh shit, imagine being stuck. Even the Marlon Wayans character, is over the top. He's ridiculous, but I have met people like that now. You know, when maybe at the time I didn't, but now I'm like, oh god, this guy. Like, even like the way the scenario happens, I've never gotten cheated on like that. I have been cheated on, but not like that, where you walk in on the guy and the girl, and even like that, he's able to, like, I guess, smooth talk his way out of it, because then he looks to Respucia for help, and she's like, what are you talking about? Nobody's, you know, and she gets on him. So that's the way that if you ever seen anybody lie, that's how a lie kind of fabricates itself, and they do a really good job at it. I think that's something I want to go into. any movie I watch with, that's why I asked like what was going on, because if I'm watching that with well, I'm not gonna watch that with my son, but like if I had to watch it like while he was awake, I couldn't do it because I felt like the fact that I sat down and I watched it through, I thought that gave me a different mindset. I'm gonna say I also did something that might have made me cheat a little bit. I will say the word cheat because I didn't mean to do this, but it gave me hope when I watched Norbit. I didn't go. This is why I think I didn't go in with a negative mindset. Not to say negative or just like any doubt, because I did something before Norbit, and I think that's why I went in being like, oh hell no, I gotta give this another chance. I accidentally snuck a third Eddie Murphy movie in there. I totally accidentally did this, and it was on Monday. So I actually, when we asked, "Were you gonna watch first?" Because I was setting up my week, and then sorry about yesterday. I have Saturday school now. I thought it was optional. Oh, the reason I thought it was optional, so I was just it's mandatory, and it's like 4 hours. So I lost my chunk of my time to do research on this. So I was kind of like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch the movies, and that's it. I'm gonna talk to Benjamin about them. Or are we calling you Benjamin or Ben? I need to. I'm
Ben. We'll go with Ben, man. It's shorter.
So
I
next
don't want
time,
you to waste too much breath, man.
well, I'm like, well, I want to make sure I get it right out there. So I'll put it back with, you want me to put side by side with Ben and CJ or with just Benjamin?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
like
do that. I'll switch that one. I'll switch that. So as of right now, it's Benjamin, but we're switching over to Ben for next time. But
we'll be Benjamin today. We'll be formal as hell today.
Yeah. So I saw a movie on Disney Plus because my son putting something on for him, and I was like, I like mixing it up. I don't like putting YouTube on for my son because one, it's too uncontrolled, and there's those ads. I don't want to pay for take them off, but I feel like if I put a 30-minute movie on or episode on, or an hour and a half movie or 2 hour movie, I know the movie. I know stories, so I know that okay, this is the halfway part. This is the beginning of the second act. So I know that there's time. I know the movie's over. Hey, he's been watching it for a little bit. 10 minutes, 20, whatever time I put him on there. I know the movie's gonna end. But like YouTube just goes. Like you don't know how long the videos are. You don't. So I'm not saying I don't promote it. I just don't let him watch it. Or at least unattended. But I put on Dr. Dolittle.
Oh.
I put it on, and then I had to turn it off because I was like, well, no, it's on Disney Plus, but I think this might be Eddie Murphy's last really good performance before Disney. I think because Norbit is not a Disney movie, but he had to do those Disney movies, we'll talk about that, but we talked about it last time. We'll talk about it again, but I was watching Dr. Dolittle, and I'm actually I'm gonna purchase it. I put it in my bin. I'm buying it soon. They only have the 1 and 2, so I'm getting both of them. I mean, he says ass a lot. It's like it's Eddie Murphy, but it's like him being a dad Eddie Murphy, but it's him, and then his character change. He goes from being a doctor to basically a veterinarian because he can speak to animals. But the fact that it's I don't know, just there's certain things like the lady that gets, I don't know if you remember it. There's this old lady that gets shellfish. And like
she's like sitting in the bathroom. Yeah. She gets all swollen up.
So it also shows you how like it shows you about the characters and whatnot. But I mean, it has Norm Macdonald, Chris Rock. Like it has a lot of characters. I mean, Ellen's in it. She plays like the dog in the beginning. She plays his best friend. So like a lot of the movies.
Albert. It's not Albert Finney that plays the tiger. It's who is it?
Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks. Thank you.
The father of Nemo. I was like, wow, This guy's been getting voice work for a while,
Yeah.
So I looked at, I was just like, dude, this movie, I mean, it's got so many, I don't have it in front of me. I need to put it up real quick, but just watching it and then feeling that feeling of like, oh man, like this is like I put it in my Amazon. I put it in my cart, but when I looked it up, the first one that popped up was I'm a big RDJ fan, Robert Downey Jr. So when I saw that one, I was like, hey, maybe we could talk about this, compare it side by side here. But I gotta say the Nutty Professor, the Dr. Dolittle really, it's 1998, so it's 2 years after he did the Nutty Professor, but he's got range, and the way his character is on this movie. Let me see real quick. What was I gonna look up? Okay, the actors. I mean Oliver Platt's in it. Peter Boyle. This other character, he's a character actor, Richard Skiff. Jeffrey Tambor, Tambor, Raven Simone. Like it's got some actors in it that you're like, okay, they work well together. They do good. And I just saw the story. Norm Macdonald's in it. Like Norm Macdonald plays a dog. And it's cool because they let Norm Macdonald kind of play Norm Macdonald. Like, and that's when as you see more Norm Macdonald as he's older, he really doesn't. You start to see his career, and you're like, oh, he never cared. He never gave a shit about anything. He didn't care. And now he's over there, like, what's up?
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna say that thermometer scene in Dr. Doolittle, where he's like, oh, it's gone. Like that. I remember that distinctly. And then Chris Rock's guinea pig, man. Like, I'm not your mama. Like at the very end, like
That's right. The alligator.
And then man, like, what was he singing? Make a Little Love, Get Down Tonight. Whenever Chris Rock is a guinea pig is singing that, what you got?
That's what I wanted to say because it's on Disney, and he's like, this is why I said I don't know what's going to be on there much longer. We'll see what's up because it's Eddie Murphy, but he's trying to get laid. So if you think about it, he's trying to get alone with his wife, and he doesn't get alone with his wife. And there's a scene where they're in the cabin, where there's a scene where he's about to get it on with her, and she's kind of looking a little, and they're at home, and all the animals show up, and then he's like, oh, I got to go work on them, so she goes to sleep, and then the next time they go on the cabins, and this is right before they go to the cabins, and then she wants to do it, and the animals follow them there. So I was like, wait a minute, this is a plot of the area. He's just been trying to plow his wife, but he can't do it. So it was like, I was like, oh, I mean, it's not in our face, but
nice little subplot there.
It's kind of there. I mean, but it shows you. I mean, it shows you that the dad is a dad. He's trying to. Even the Raven Simone, Paprika is my name. It's like he has to deal with that too, and he's about to get on this merger, and I'm like, damn, that is true because that is like a father thing you got to handle. When your kid starts being a teenager or preteen and starts self-identifying themselves, it's like that's another thing on your plate. So he really does bring it. He brings it through. He really does. He does a good performance. But I saw that movie. I put it on. I just put it on. I thought maybe my son and I could watch like 10, 15 minutes of it. I ended up watching the whole thing. Not then. I paused it. He took his nap. I went straight to watching it, and I was like, damn, this movie's so funny. So I did watch 3. But I think the fact that I saw the Dr. Doolittle first, I think that built up my confidence a lot in Norbit. I think because it was like as I was watching Norbit, I just started being like, oh, because even the beginning is kind of funny, where they explain how he got there and how he got adopted.
Yeah,
even that's kind of funny. And then the Mr. Wong character, he just talks forward, like he's just blunt, and that's how foreign people are. So a lot of people just straight to the point, and I like that he captured that. I like a lot of this. I like a lot of his portrayal. For Dr. Doolittle, Norbit and Nutty Professor, he does a great job. And I mean, those are 3 movies, and I think he's playing like 15 characters in those 3 movies. So that's a lot, man. Oh. But I think when people, I haven't looked into the whole controversy of the whole fat suit thing, but he plays it well. I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying that it belittles him or anything, but he does it well. He does Norbit well. I think more for the technological advances of the filmmaking they're doing. I mean, in his movie and his brother, now that his brother's passed on, I think that's like a bigger thing, Charlie Murphy wasn't famous back then. He was barely starting because of Chappelle, but he was barely starting at that point in 2007, and but he's been around for a minute, and now he's gone. So it's cool to kind of see what he was able to leave as a artist, creator, or whatnot. But that was cool. So when you kind of add that in there, I kind of see more as Norbit being more of just a fun. I think you said a fun ride. I see it as a fun ride. I'm not taking it too serious. And to be honest with you, and anybody listening, I don't get offended very easily. I don't know if you've met my family, pretty rough. So they built me up with they built me up with that tough skin. They still do. They still hook me up with it. So. But I watched the movie the whole time, and I was just like, wow, this is kind of, I can relate to it, but I don't have to get too deep into it. But I just think it's just funny. I think a lot of the movies are funny that we've been, these 3 movies alone. I haven't seen the new the new Dr. Doolittle, but I'm willing to watch it, willing to see,
Yeah.
compare them now and do something. But I think our process for this is just whatever we want to talk about, whatever movies if I put side by side, but if we watch 10 movies and want to talk about all 10, let's do it. I
Why
think
not?
exactly. I think just learning, you can learn from Eddie Murphy and just watching him on stage, I mean on screen, and you really get to see him because there's the one thing. Oh, Jada Pinkett Smith character when Reggie Dave Chappelle character is making fun of Sherman Klump. They have a close up of her eyes when she looks up, and just a little added environment, and the way she looks, she's so beautiful. But those eyes that she gives, that she's mad, like you're talking crap about my man. Like I've kind of had that, and you kind of get like, oh, look at that. Like you made. Well, now sure with my wife, yeah, definitely. I've seen her like her eyes and her claws come out and stuff, but not towards me, towards other people. But I see that, and I'm like, oh, that scene. Like it really helped me out.
And she did a really good job acting there too, because as soon as Dave Chappelle kind of brings her into the jokes as well, she just really, you see her kind of do this and just kind of hide up and kind of tense up too. Like I have to agree with you there. She did a very good job of, it's, I don't know. I've never acted on screen or anything before, but she did a very good job of feeling uncomfortable in that situation.
Yeah, she sells it.
Uh, she really does. And what I thought was kind of crazy, and this may just be me. I think Jada Pinkett Smith looks almost younger now than she does in that role. She looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, she has aged beautifully. And
I can see Will Smith's problem. I don't. It'd be a problem. She's attractive.
telling you, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go on, have your entanglements.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Just,
yeah. It's no longer
uh,
August. Not just kidding. Sorry, Will. I'm a
um,
huge Will Smith fan. So.
oh,
Uh,
dude, yes.
yeah. Oh, I could. Oh, yeah. He's another one. I could talk about Will Smith's movies all. I mean, just from the like, I'm gonna start off with this one because my mind goes sci-fi. Just with iRobot, like
Independence Day was what I was thinking.
no, oh
I
no,
mean,
oh I actually got lucky. I got to see Independence Day and Eraser on the same day because
ooh,
with my dad too, of all people. We got to see them, and our theater was moving from the 3 to the cinema 3 to the 8. So they shut
uh-huh.
down the movies for the summer. So we drive down to the local city, one the hour away that has the Uvalde that has the cinema. Well, they I think had like a cinema 4 too. But we went, and I remember I told my dad, I was like, dude, let's just make it a day. Let's go watch it. Oh no, let's go watch Independence Day. And then we went to go watch it, and he was kind of like, okay. And then it was like at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock. So it was early. And then he goes, is that Schwarzenegger? I was like, yeah, it's Eraser. All right, we're staying. And we went and got the tickets, and we stayed and watched it. So I thought that was kind of cool. But watching Independence Day, and then it watched it on 4th of July.
Yeah,
It was a cool movie. I thought the Randy Quaid character is amazing.
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum is, you get to see how smart on TV on movies Jeff Goldblum is again. Bill
Yes.
Pullman's good. They
Harvey
have a lot of,
Firestein.
yeah.
I really like. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy his characters in movies, like him and Mrs. Doubtfire. Like I love that scene with him and Robin Williams just trying to figure that out.
His
Uh,
voice, his voice.
it's so yeah. It's like it's
Ah,
soothing and irritating at the same time.
I think
Like it's
I
it's
think
great.
I do like the relationship that him and Robin Williams carry and Mrs. Doubtfire, because I have a gay brother, so I like to see other like straight and a gay brother interact, and I'm kind of like, I can see how I'm like that. Like he's like, oh, you aged this so well. Take care of this one. She doesn't age well. It's just I actually bought Mrs. Doubtfire, I think last year, because I was just tired of renting it, or it was never available. So I said, I'm buying it, and then I think now I see it all the time for free. But it's one of those, and
Yeah.
you gotta have it. Um, yeah, I think this might how this works, where we'll just kind of figure out what movies we're gonna move on to. I mean, we can still talk about these, but I think it's time for us to see what else we're moving on to. Because I mean, we could pick Eddie Murphy all day. Oh, also, I wanted to say about the Nutty Professor. I want to say that, two characters I gotta say. The Buddy Love character, when he wears the like Letterman looking, when he first meets Jada Pinkett Smith's character, and
Yeah.
he's wearing that Letterman looking thing. That's kind of I want to say, I'm just saying this because I'm a film guy. That's an homage to Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop because he wears that Letterman on the.
Oh.
So I'm kind of like, it's kind of a little bit, and it's kind of, he's a little obnoxious. Axel Foley's he's a little obnoxious, but he's actually like, he's smart, and he's street smart.
Yeah.
He's a cop smart, so you get that from Axel Foley. But Buddy Love is a fictional character, but you can kind of see a little bit of the smartassness with Axel Foley, where you kind of see the, like, okay, I see it. And then what other one was I gonna say? The Respucia character, what was he? She reminded me of. I forgot. It went over my head, but basically like looking at his characters, I was just like, oh, you can kind of. Oh, the Norbit character, the Norbit. He reminded me of Bowfinger when he plays.
Yes.
So he kind of took that character, and it's kind of like kind of gave him a day in the life, but kind of just switched him a little bit. He kind of made him gullible, but he made him a little bit of a brain. Where the Bowfinger's character, he was completely out of it. But like that, like, see, man, he's got movies, man. I got a lot of Eddie Murphy movies, and I could seriously watch them a lot. But even like with Will Smith, with like, I like Hancock. I don't know if people like.
I did too. You were gonna say something about iRobot before I cut you off.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I can, like, that movie. I could watch that one. I've got to say, the Bridget Moynihan is really good as a scientist. Got a little too beautiful for being a scientist, I think, in that era. Now anybody's a scientist nowadays.
Well, look at Jada Pinkett Smith, man.
That's true. Look at this. We caught on to something here. I guess I let Jada slide. but even like Shia LaBeouf is in it. You got a young Shia LaBeouf, and that guy's career. I'm planning on doing on my site like homages and just appreciations for actors. You know. It's even like just I don't even want to say being one of the good guys. Just being in Hollywood is just like it's gross. You know, I lived there for a year, and I was like, you know, it's got to be hard to go through these movies and do this stuff. Sometimes you got lots of like Shia LaBeouf. You know, when they pick on him for the stuff he did when he was younger, getting his accents. It's like, but now he's like rocking it, man. He's killing it. And then seeing him in iRobot, you can see his performance. You're like, dude, he plays a good little wise ass kid with balls, but he's a little kid. You know, it's like
Constantine is another one that he's really good in.
But that one, and remember, these are all spoiler alerts. So if you haven't seen any of these movies, these are spoiler alerts. Like, do not come in here thinking we're not. There's no salary cap here. We go all the way to the roof because we have no salary. I'll say that when he dies in Constantine, and the way that he dies after saving the girl, it really hits you harder because you what's his name, Kramer? You really fall in love with the character because he's just a dumb idiot, but he's willing to help. You know, when I was younger, it reminds me when I just go help out someone with a project or something. I've always been the same height, so I'm kind of either taller or the same height as someone from my hometown. But I was always like, they're like, oh, you can read stuff, go in there, and you it's not just like helping someone out, but you gotta learn. And I like that constant character because he's just kind of a little eager. He has that eagerness to him. I haven't seen it in a minute. I've seen it a lot, but you know, when it aired on TNT and all that. But I will say that I do like that performance in there. And the Transformers one, I don't like the Transformers movies. I've seen them. I'm a huge Transformers fan, but I'm from the animated life. I'll say that even the first Transformers, I think it's bearable because of Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. I think I agree. I always wondered what happened to his hand, and when they gets teleported, and apparently they don't show it in the movie, but he broke his hand in real life. With the DWI, he got in a car accident and broke it. So they did that. So once I found that out, I was like, okay, well, that forgives me a little, because I was always thrown off by just little when the continuity breaks a little bit. So you're like, okay, well, that's actually cool. He was going through. I think he's 21 at the time, and he got DWI, and I'm like, well, shit, that's rough, man. I know what that feels like, and he was still able to do a performing job. Like, that's good, you know. And I think the fact that Michael Bay, man, like
he's explosions, man. Hey, CJ, man, I hate to keep. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick if you don't mind. I'm so sorry.
I'm not going to pause, though. I'm going to keep talking. So
you go for it.
You pause it. And we're working this out. We're seeing how long it takes. I don't have to go right now, but I might have to. So we did watch, like I said, I was watching Dr. Dolittle, and I think I have nothing but good things to say about it. Let's see what it is on Rotten Tomato, because I think it is a really, really good movie. Dr. Dolittle. Let's see. Here we go. And they actually put the third one, the second one, and then this one, and there's Dr. Doolittle from 2009, $1 Million Mutts. Yeah, so it kind of went well for a little bit. Oh, not bad. The tomato meter gave it a 42, but I don't care about that. So it got a 34 on the audience score. But out of 873,777 votes, I guess that's how you score this. I need to look a little bit more, but a 34. Well, what then? Wait, what did Norbit get? I think it was a 53 or something. What did we find out? Yeah, 53. So Norbit even got a better audience than Dr. Dolittle, but Dr. Dolittle has a different demographic, I'm assuming, Disney and whatnot. They're probably a little bit more limited, but this movie still has a few little parts there where you kind of question yourself if it's a Disney movie, but it's good. I recommend watching any of these three of these movies if you get a chance. If you have Disney Plus, there's Dr. Dolittle. I purchased Norbit, and if you have Stars, you can watch as of 8/30/2020, you can watch Dr. Dolittle. But yeah, and he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey
guy. I was basically just telling him. I noticed something about myself, though. I'm as an actor. When I was doing movie stuff, film stuff, I had a bad tendency of touching my face, and when the camera's on, and now I've noticed some podcasts. I'm just like, so trying to stop that, and that's not for anybody who's watching or hearing. It's just because that's just something that bothers me. So I wanted to get it out there. But I was speaking to the audience, and like I said, I don't care about the tomato meter, but it does exist, so I'm not going to not acknowledge it. But it's a 42. But the movie got a 34 audience score out of 873,777 score.
That's crazy.
But even
I love Dr. Dolittle.
But like I was just saying that I think maybe the demographic for the movie was different. It's a different rating. Norbit is obviously able to do more with it. But that even shows you like the critics gave Dr. Dolittle 42 and different time table because there's like 11-year difference. But these critics give it a 9, like Norbit a 9. So it's just like, each preference. Movie. I mean, this has 877 reviews. Norbit has 600. It's a lot. 660. That's a lot of views.
Yeah.
Nutty Professor stands at 600 as well. 602 with 64. I think what the Nutty Professor reminds me of, and I don't know if it reminds me of Flubber a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the same kind of feel for it. It had the same kind of story. It's kind of like, I haven't seen Flubber in a minute, but I do know that when I have seen, it kind of has the same kind of vibe. I'm not gonna say that that they're the same movie, but I'll say that it kind of like when I watch it, I get the kind of same feeling. Kind of like if you're eating steak and one's a sirloin and one's a ribeye. It's still steak, but it's two different kind of cuts. Yeah. But I feel like it's in the same. If that makes any sense to anybody, people are like, "Oh, this idiot." but I think that's what I want to do. But I mean, I think also what you said earlier, you haven't acted in camera lately. I think we need to fix that. I think we need to see what performances here that you'd like, and we can kind of get you on camera, because that's what I'm doing. I'm recording. We're gonna make some stuff, and not just talk. We're gonna be about, which I think if I were to act in any of those movies today, I would probably say I think I don't want to say Norbit, but I think maybe the Nutty Professor would be more if I had to pick between those three. I'd kind of want to act in that one, but only because it is the rhythmic pattern of like it's and that's another thing. You see the Richard Simmons character, it's Eddie Murphy. You see him in all the other Parents, it's Eddie Murphy. So it's like he's in almost every scene of the movie itself, or somehow, and it's the movie's about him, but you don't feel like it's about him. You don't feel that it's like this is Eddie Murphy stuck right in your face. No, he's there. He's a character, but he plays all the characters, and it's great. When we talked about Tropic Thunder and they made fun of the fatties thing, that's someone's view. Maybe Ben Stiller wrote it, so maybe that was his view on it, and it worked. Because it does make you think like, oh, those movies are about like that, but they're not about that. They're actually doing a parody of that. So I get it, but at the same time, I'm not like, you got to watch it yourself. You got to go through it. But the way Jack Black plays, it's funny because Jack Black's playing like a drug addict. So he's like a drug addict, but he's also playing like a famous actor, and he just gets famous for farting and playing the same like fat suit person and farting.
Do you think that maybe he's a mix between Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor that they made into a goofy little white guy?
Oh my god, that is see, I can see that. The Eddie Murphy career, but with the internal engine of Richard Pryor. Holy shit!
Yeah,
Ben Stiller.
yeah.
If you did that, I'm not even my. I love Ben Stiller movies too.
Dude, Tom Cruise's possibly best performance, in my personal opinion,
I will tell
was
you
in
that
Tropic Thunder.
I love, and one thing I did love about Tropic Thunder, one, I did watch it and I laughed my ass off. I watched it when it first came out. I was like, I gotta watch it because Robert Downey Jr. and Brandon T. Jackson's in it, and you got Ben Stiller and even like I don't know how to say that guy's name, Jay Baruchel or whatever.
Bruchel.
Bruchel, yeah, Jay Bruchel, he's in it, and so you have, I mean, even what's it? I don't want to forget. What's his name? Tool. What's his name? The director character.
Oh gosh, if you hadn't said it's Stephen something, right?
Yeah, Stephen Kuhn.
Yes, yes. Oh, and Danny McBride's in it.
Yes, Danny McBride. So it's like you even have these characters, but the whole
hand driving Miss Daisy.
It's just like, see, that's another thing. Is Danny McBride acting, or is he just being Danny McBride? And that's beautiful. I like I even like Ben Stiller's I like that he's a filmmaker. Unfortunately, you know what? We'll do a shout out to his father, Jerry Stiller, passed away. Shout out, and then also to Chadwick Boseman. You know,
God, man, I didn't think that was real. Whenever I first saw that, I saw it on Facebook, and I was like, "This is one of those clickbait jokes." Like, and then I went on IMDb, and there was nothing because normally they're pretty quick. I didn't see anything on there, and so I double checked on the internet, and then I saw that, and I was just like, "Oh man, it's somebody who's just such a good actor, man, and to be struggling with that, and then not be public about it. I mean, props to him for doing that. I honestly, like, I feel like it's almost not in the same vein, but kind of like whenever you watch The Dark Knight after Heath Ledger passed, it just like it had you saw a role that you almost could say took his life, and then you see Chadwick Boseman. He went through all this, and he just played so many prolific characters over the past 4 years. I mean, he brought to life Black Panther. I mean, that movie, man, it gets better every time you watch it. Like, I remember. Sorry, I don't mean to just go on a tangent, but I remember
that's what you're supposed to do in here.
The first time I watched it, man, like Michael B. Jordan's character, not to take away from Chadwick Boseman, but I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just didn't think it was, for some reason it just didn't feel right. But then after I watched it, I was like, he's playing three different people. Like, he's playing who he thinks Claw thinks he wants to be. He's playing that American idiot.
Yes.
And then he's playing who's the second one? Like oh gosh, like his Wakanda self, like who he thinks he should be. And then you see him,
Killmonger,
who he is. Yeah, Killmonger. And like it just like it dawned on me that the reason it didn't seem like it was cohesive was because it wasn't. Like,
you gotta catch that. It's in there subtly. You got, like what you just did, you have to catch it. I will say that Black Panther is a good movie. I enjoy. I think the thing that sucks is I went and watched it with my gay geeks. Shout out. We watched all the MCUs together, and when I watched it with them, it kind of it makes it, not to say that it doesn't do well, but the movie feels better. The movie just feels like you're watching with people that you want to watch it with, and when you watch it, you're just like, oh. And I know everybody, and I know that we're just talking about Chadwick Boseman. But I gotta say, man, I walked out like loving Michael B. Jordan's character. Like he doesn't mess around, man. He's serious, and the way he got jacked he's been jacked for those roles. He got it for Creed, but still, like, that character is ruthless. I mean, he even kills what's the bad guy's name? He kills
Claw.
Claw, yeah, he kills him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's ruthless. Like, he's like, okay. And then he even goes back to Wakanda. And then the way his story begins. But it's true. I don't feel like they should have killed him off, man. That pissed me off.
here's the great thing, dude. Like with that snap, what's to say he didn't come back?
That's true.
There's. I mean, and I really feel like I don't know where they're going with Black Panther 2. They obviously have to have some. They had to have had some knowledge of what he was going through while he was
Yeah,
on
from
set.
2016. Yeah.
Because I remember hearing, just kind of like, oh, this is going to be the new Black Panther. Da da da. I was like, well, you got Chadwick Boseman, so I think he was trying to set something else up to where somebody else could replace him without
They have a
anybody really
replacement.
knowing.
Sorry to interrupt. They have a replacement already, or they already have
No,
one?
I'm just saying that they were talking about like having a new Black Panther
Oh, okay.
or somebody taking over besides Chadwick Boseman, like maybe a year ago, less than that. I remember seeing that somewhere, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you kill off Black Panther? Because that's the way it kind of made it seem like he wasn't going to come back from Endgame or Infinity War. He was
Yeah.
going to die in one of these movies, which I mean, with the current events, but very well may have happened. I'm sure that he filmed something. I mean, hell, they got Stan Lee to do his cameos and all that other stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Um,
They projected Stan for a while, man.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, man, like, oh gosh, him and Black Panther, fantastic. Like, yeah, I really have enjoyed any movie that he's been in.
Dude, like, I mean, I don't want to talk about Michael B. Jordan this time because we can talk about him for a while, but let's talk about Chadwick for a minute. And just like, so I think did you see the graphic that I made for him today? I did a little design for him. I'll post it up in a little bit. But I
Yeah,
basically was like, dude, this guy came out like, the only person I can think that came out of nowhere like him was Mark Ruffalo, because Mark
yeah,
Ruffalo didn't have like a career when he was younger. Apparently he was a model, and then I saw some pictures of him when he was younger, and I was like, that guy's damn good looking. But when Mark Ruffalo, he kind of just got roles like I think more around 30, and then he just started coming out all these movies, and I kind of noticed this with Chadwick Boseman. But I mean, God, he has like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pause. I've been holding the restroom, so my turn. So
yeah,
Ben,
go
hold
for
him
it.
for a minute. Oh, sorry, Benjamin, hold him for a
Yeah,
minute. I'll be right back.
Benjamin this time. But yes, no, uh, it's really a loss in that aspect. But I think that Chadwick Boseman, he has left a legacy that will, you know, keep on going for quite a while. He did some great work. Uh, the new James Brown movie I have not seen, but I mean I plan on watching that, and maybe we can have like a watch a couple of his movies and do a side by side of those because I mean, oof, we we lost a good one there, but uh, the show must go on, unfortunately. But all right,
Sorry,
good. That was no, that was really depressing. I'm glad you're back. Because I just can't.
Hey, we'll learn. Like we're learning. We're seeing the timing. Yeah. Note to self: don't drink 2 club sodas and a Topo Chico before you start doing this.
Hey, let's make another plug. I tried White Claw for the first time today.
Oh, what do you
Not
think?
terrible. Not terrible. Not terrible at all.
Man, I went through a binge White Claw. It was good to me for a little bit because I drank when I was at a young age, and I was a drinker, and I don't drink it as much as I used to. But White Claws kind of gets you there. But man, I just can't enjoy them anymore. I can't enjoy alcohols like I used to. But White Claw gets you there. Like you can have
Yeah.
like 4 or 5, you get a buzz. Not really. I mean, sometimes at a barbecue, I remember I had like 6 White Claws and I had no buzz, but I woke up with a hangover. So I had that's happened to me a few times. But I think that's because my irresponsible drinking when I was younger. But yeah, White Claw. That's club soda and liquor. Why not, right? I mean, I
I'm
like
telling you.
I like it. I mean, I never drank beer when I was younger. I used to drink liquor. Now I don't really drink liquor, and I drink beer now. I have a
Yeah.
beer. I have like a couple beers, but I like White Claw's nice. I tried Truly. I like that one, and then I like there's the Bud. Have you tried the? Oh, it's your first one. You gotta try the Bud Light one. It's kind of not good. Like it's all right, but it's like you're like, oh, this is what a bad one tastes like.
Well, honestly, man, like these White Claws are kind of like drinking light beers. If we're being
Yeah,
honest,
it is.
like it
It
doesn't
is.
it doesn't fill you up like an IPA or anything like that. Like you're not feeling so heavy.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, I got a buzz earlier. It's gone now, but
Yeah. So
you
yeah,
know,
eating light.
it was pretty quick. But hey, man, you take what you can get.
Yeah.
You move on.
Oh yeah. So that's the White Claw plug. But now we're moving back. Before I exited, I was talking about Chadwick Boseman's career, and I'm looking at it right here. He had TV, like it says. He had something from 1970 apparently when he was a child. So, but it also then it jumps all the way to 2003, and he did a show, Third Watch, Law and Order. He did the Psycho like you're supposed to, and then he did the Express. I think that's the football movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I
in that one.
remember. I remember that coming out. I think I watched it whenever it came out. What year did that come out?
2008. Yeah, so
2008.
yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then look at this, like, and then all of a sudden, like, I mean, he basically like 42, Jackie Robinson. I mean, he did Draft Day. I mean, I wanted to put Draft Day on there, but it has Kevin Costner on the cover, and I didn't want to do that. But I liked his character in Draft Day. Vontae Mack as the number one pick as a linebacker from Ohio State. He does a good job. He was also in Gods of Egypt, which wasn't really praised well, but I mean, it was marketed like crazy. And then you get to his Captain America Civil War, which he did a great debut. I think he did awesome. And then you get the Message from the King. These then he kind of gets a little dip, but then he has Marshall, Thurgood Marshall. Like, dude, he got some pretty good roles. He also did I'm sorry, I totally forgot. He plays James Brown as well.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt, and I might be stretching here, but I kind of felt he was like the next Denzel.
Have you seen that thing on Facebook where Denzel was the one who paid for his tuition one summer?
Oh no.
Yeah. If I find one of them, I'll tag you in it. But yeah, apparently Denzel Washington was the one who set him up to go to I think it's an acting school or something like that to get his career started and really kind of got it going. So
I mean, dude, he played James Brown. I mean, he played James Brown. Eddie Murphy. I mean, he does a James Brown impression in the stand-ups, but he also did what's it called, Dreamgirls, and I think that was kind of based off James Brown a little bit. I'm not mistaken, like the energy, the way he sung. That's really cool. I mean, even at that, Eddie Murphy can sing. That's like Jamie Foxx, it's like awesome. But I mean, he has some movies here that's completed. He still got, it's called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I don't know what that's about. Chadwick Boseman. And this other one called Yasuki. So, I mean, he's got two more coming out. Or one's in pre-production, but the one's complete. So at least has one more movie coming out. I do want to see this Five Blood, see how that comes, see what that's about. But his career is not going to be very long. But I think the roles that he got were amazing. I think he got some pretty good roles. I mean, just the T'Challa, just being Black Panther alone, that is a big one. That is one you can hang it, because I mean, it's part of the MCU. He did a great job. He's even get to make fun of him a little bit. What are those? I like the RP. I think I always think that it's good to kind of appreciate the dead. I guess Dia de la Muertes. I like that's my culture. So I think in some way, the only other one I did was Bill Paxton when he passed away. I was like, damn, I did a little homage. I need to do more. I need to get more involved in it. I've been using my IMDb page a lot just to check in. I do write reviews. Why not? Who am I to say I'm a critic? But I'll just tell you that I'm a guy that grew up watching movies, watching TV, and then now I'm a dad that wants to make movies and make stuff. Like I've been making them. Now I'm just doing a lot more. But I want to kind of just have a place for my son. I can kind of guide him a little bit. Not to say that he can watch whatever he wants, and there will be a time where he'll be an adult and he definitely can do whatever the hell he wants. But as of now, I feel like showing him movies and guiding him is kind of what I feel like we learn a lot more from movies these days. And I think like if they ever said they're making a Nutty Professor remake, I'd be like, if they made it, because technically Nutty Professor is a remake of Jerry Lewis's, but if they were to try to do what I'm trying to say, if to make that movie again with the multiple characters by one actor, no, I wouldn't give into it. A lot of people are Death Becomes Her. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's probably been a couple years, man. But I definitely remember watching that.
I just saw it recently and I bought it. It's I love that movie. That's Robert Zemeckis. It's a great movie. The thing about that is they're doing a remake of that one. It's coming out. Yeah,
Really?
they remade it, and you have so you in the original one you have Goldie Hawn, Meryl Streep, and Bruce Willis, and then there's a Countess. Remember the pretty, sexy, attractive old woman in the movie? And then, hello? Did you freeze?
Hello?
Am I there? Are you there? You there? Caller?
Yep.
All right,
You're
gotcha.
back. Yep.
So then,
all right.
yeah, that was when you froze for a little bit. So then you have, and that's the older version. Well, and in Bruce Willis, we'll have a Bruce Willis day. I gotta have that. And but there probably is. I just don't know what day it is. Anyways, the other characters now are going to be Kate Hudson will be reprising a role that her mother did. So that's already like, that's already a bad sign. I'm only saying that because Goldie Hawn is Goldie Hawn. Like, I'm sorry, Kate Hudson. It's hard. It's hard shoes to fill. I couldn't do it. And then you have Anne Hathaway playing the Meryl Streep character, I believe.
I like that.
Robert Downey Jr. is playing the Bruce Willis character, and Lady Gaga is playing the Countess, or the Countess, I think.
Ooh,
so
who plays the Countess in the first one?
She's famous. She's a good actress. I don't know her name off the top of my head.
She's like French or something, right?
Yeah, she's French. She's also she did a lot of other characters, like kind of loosely, kind of like same characters as the Countess.
Okay.
So we'll see. I mean, I've been getting people have been trying to like defend that movie because I was saying it's a remake, and right off the top of my head, remakes are not good. Oh, remakes of great movies are not good, and they find, I don't know how they do it, but they kind of mess it up a bit. Her name is Isabella Rossellini. She's done other roles. But I'm saying this movie's amazing. I would not even touch it. I think if you want to bring it into the younger generations, I would recommend like making another version of this, maybe a more modern version of this. Oh, I even have I don't want to go there yet. I'm too new in the scene. We're too new in the scene. I've been working on film theories, like, conspiracy theories, or like why stuff happens in the movies, or like what happened.
You think there's actually like people that are trying to be younger in Hollywood? Is that what you're getting at? Because I like where you're going with that.
Yep.
Honestly, maybe we could do like some conspiracy. I love.
No. We are gonna do some. I'll bring mine out. You bring yours, because I already have 3 right off the top of my head that I'm like, okay, that one came on because I recently watched it, and then I saw something about, and I'm saying I don't want to get into politics. I don't want to get, but it's just stories that are going on about the pedophile stuff in Hollywood. So I was like, well, when you look at that movie, like the Bruce Willis character doesn't want to do it. So what happens when someone doesn't want to go part of your plan that you can't have anybody know about, you get rid of them. And that's what they kind of try to do. And they try to convince them that's good for him. But I feel like, and it's also Bruce Willis playing the character. So in my head, I'm like, Bruce Willis is anti-Hollywood, even though he's full Hollywood. But it's like, but I'm like, he's still not going to go all the way because he's a man and he's not going to do that. But I honestly think that that's there's a little foreshadowing there for Robert Zemeckis. Just a little bit in life, a little bit of why people being obsessed with youth. And I'm thinking that like, why would he didn't want to take it, even though they showed his hand get youthful the way she does the little gimmick, but he didn't want to take it because I think he saw what it was and to be youthful, and he didn't want to do that. But he also puts it on. The ending of that movie is really great because they talk about him, people living
having
through
like
him,
a full life.
Having a full life. And these two chicks are just vain and just trying to like live their life pretty, and it doesn't work like that. It's just, you have a time frame where you have it, you could hold it, sustain it, and see how long you can, but looks are going to fade and you're going to get older, and that's just how it is. And I like that. I feel maybe not just the pedal, maybe it's something else. I just went there because I was watching an article, so I think it kind of connected the dots a little bit. Maybe it could be something else. It could be the Fountain of Youth, could be Scientology, for all I know. A lot of Scientologists tend to look terrible. Yeah, they tend to look a little bit younger. I feel.
Look at Will Smith and Jada, man. I'm telling you, like, there's something there. I mean, what are they almost? They have to be like, they're in their 50s, right?
Yeah, they're in their 50s.
Yeah, I mean, there's. Not to be a big conspiracy theorist, but I think there's something to it, CJ.
Yeah, I think if we can kind of, if I watch this, I haven't been on it. If I watch it again, and I try to kind of see a little bit more deep into it, maybe. But let's find out how. I think Will Smith is either I think it might be 48. I think he's in his 40s still. I think they're close to it though. But he doesn't.
Whenever he did Fresh Prince, I mean, he had to have been in his 20s, right?
No, I think maybe early 20s, like early. He is. So he is 52. Never mind, I'm full of crap. Because and this is the way I'm doing my math. He was born 1968. My father was born 1960. So my father's 60 years old. So I'm just taking away 8. so he's 52. So yeah, so they are in the 50s. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. Let's see about Fresh Prince. I mean, he still has 60 credits. So that means that a lot of his movies are really, he doesn't need a whole bunch of movies. He just has to do the right ones. I kind of want to be on my acting career where I'm taking it now. I don't mind doing 300 movies. Like even if like I'm at the point now I feel like I'm too far behind that it's better for me to just like take every role. So Fresh Prince is 1990. So yeah. So how old would you have been? 60. Yeah, 22. And so I'm watching.
We could be like Samuel L. Jackson when it comes to movies. Just be in everything, and that way, you know.
I have.
If it's really good.
I also watched. Sorry. Yeah, I'll also watch the Die Hard series. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And I like Sam Jackson's character as Luther or Zeus. Sorry, Zeus, and in there because he's not all yelly.
Yeah.
He's not yelling the whole time. He's just a calm, kind of just dude from Harlem. Not Harlem. Is that Harlem? Yeah, I think Harlem. And he's just trying to take care of his nephews and do his job. And he ends up having to go on this wild ride. And I like it because he's vulnerable. That's the thing I like because he seconds guess himself a lot in that movie where McClane, what is it, McClane? And it's just like I like that they didn't make I don't like it when you make a superhero or a hero or even a villain. I like villains are okay because they end up getting knocked down, whatever. But like superheroes are too strong. Like when you know that superhero walks into the scene, they're gonna save the day. I like it when it's just like they might not make it. Like oh crap, they pulled off or the person on the side came out. Like I like that. I don't like superheroes or just heroes being too strong and I like them in Vengeance because he was vulnerable. He's just a regular guy, and then Bruce Willis is older too in that movie, so he's not too like ass kicking. Like it's just the scenes even like that you see character development from the first one to the second one and the third one. And the first one he's more because he's younger. He's more like he's walking into shit. He's like oh crap. Oh he's like getting into trouble. The second one he's kind of killing guys beforehand. He's kind of starting problems. And the third one he's just shooting. There's a scene where he has to go next to the truck when he steals the truck before he does he just shoots the guys in the truck. He just shoots them. Like, he doesn't even, he shoots through the door. Like, which cop does that? Like, he's not even supposed to, it's just like, he's already like, I love that character does that. That to me, that character that he did that. He just killed these people and now on the police report, bad guys, shot him. And it's like, I get to kind of be more like John McClane is now the character to me. Like, I'm seeing more of the layers now when it comes to this stuff. And I'm really understanding and I'm really enjoying a lot of the, just being part of this. I like sharing this with you too because it's cool because I share other stuff and just talking. It's like you're cool that you get to be in this little environment for this little time. We get to share it, and let it be what it is. And if we're gonna segue to maybe our next movies, maybe we could find something. So, but like I said, you want to do conspiracies? I have one that I want to talk about, and I guess this is the best time to talk about it. And it's a dumb one. It's a dumb one, and I don't care because I love movies. I think. In my mind, have you ever seen the movie Con Air?
Yeah, love that movie. Dave Chappelle's in that one too.
He's in that one too. Pinball, and this one's a great one. This one's full, and this is like not Nick Cage being Nick Cagey. So like
he's Nick Cage being Southern Nick Cage, which is even better because that's his environment. That's where Nick Cage should be. Sorry.
No. By all means. So what's his name? Cameron Poe in the movie. So then it's him. And who's his height? I mean, his side man, Baby-O.
Yeah, AKA Bubba Bubba from Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, Bubba. Yeah, I think it's
Baby-O. I think you're right.
I'm gonna butcher his name. Mykelti, Mykelti. Sorry, I speak Spanish, so it's kind of throwing me off. Mykelti Williamson. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Mykelti. Anyways, he plays Baby-O, which is Bubba or Bubba from I'm gonna say Bubba Gump, but it's not Bubba Gump.
I know. I was gonna.
It's Bubba from Forrest Gump. But so sorry, we'll get back on track. So my whole thing is, so in the movie, Cameron Poe, Nick Cage's character is taking care of. The point is for him to go see his daughter because he's been wrongfully accused and he's got to go through the process. So he's getting released, and he's his buddy Baby O, his cellmate, goes with him, and they get transported. And you realize that he kind of takes care of him because he has the diabetes and ends up having it. I think I figured out why Cameron Poe is taking care of Baby O so much. You know, I think it's not just the character. Have you noticed the scene where he's writing to his daughter, and he brings up Baby O, and he gives him the bonbon or the dessert because he doesn't eat it, so he's always giving him the dessert. I feel like he gave him the diabetes. I feel like he has to take care of him because I was like, man, he's really trying. Even the part where like Danny Trejo is about to like manhandle that woman, he's all on the floor like, I'm gonna bust you up. He's trying to go, and then Cameron Poe comes in and saves him, but he didn't have to come back, you know, because he needs to, because he feels like he's got to take care of his boy. So he checks him out, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, you feel bad because you gave him diabetes. Like,
put the bunny down.
Put the bunny down. That's it. That's dude. I want to learn to quote that one. John Cusack's in that. I saw him at
John Malkovich. How have we not? That man in that movie was fantastic. Cyrus the Virus. Oh, I mean, nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder on the airplane. All right. Yeah, I just love it. Love it.
John Malkovich. Is a great I don't know how to do it. John. It's named Bill Hader can do a great John Malkovich. It's
because he's tall. That's why.
Do you think you need to be tall?
I think you have to be tall, and you just have to have that that swagger about you.
How
tall swagger.
How tall is John Malkovich?
I don't know.
Oh, you think you have to be? You think you have to be tall? Yeah. Well,
I think.
the movie I got. I want to really say this is the movie I got introduced to John Malkovich was In the Line of Fire. Did you ever see that one?
I did not.
It's 93, so it's a little bit younger. You might be a little younger because I saw this one in the theaters. I was in third grade. So I will say that this one, if you get to see John Malkovich play this, like, I guess, I don't know, he's trying to play a martyr or like he's trying to play, I mean, it's Secret Service agent Frank Harrigan, couldn't save Kennedy, but he's determined not to let the clever assassin take over this presidency. So he's basically plays an assassin. But the way he goes through the character, the way he's like, because he doesn't look overpowering. Like, he's not going to beat you up. He's not going to manhandle you. He's not going to scare you that way. He's a psychological thriller. And then the way he does that when I got introduced with him as that, anything that he did that wasn't in that realm, I was like, okay, I'll accept that for that. But anything he does that's scary, like even when he plays in Rounders, what's the RBK or RGB, whatever, he plays a Russian. I have to make up for it. I hate when I butcher stuff. I'm supposed to know all this, and
No, you're good. You're good.
So he plays a KGB. He plays. I think his name's KGB. He plays this Russian mobster poker guy, and it's scary. It's scary. You're like, wow. But then you see him in being John Malkovich, and it's kind of like him being him, but it's like it's not being a killer. It's just John Malkovich, and you're like, that's okay.
Yeah. So I think Con Air, possibly the first time I was introduced to John Malkovich. If not, the one I remember the most was being John Malkovich. I remember, I think my dad probably ordered it on DirecTV one day, and I watched that, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on, because that came out, like 2000, 2001, something like that? Or maybe 99.
I think it might be 99. I think it might be in the class of 99, which is probably the best class of, 1999. Best class of cinema, 1999.
So, I mean, that was a very strange way to be introduced to somebody who was actually, I don't even know, man. Like, he was already there. He was already an actor. He had a Mice and Men with Gary Sinise.
Yes.
Stuff like that. He already had his chops, I guess. And then I see that kind of like as a first, like, oh, this is who John Malkovich is. He's just this weird guy. Like, that's kind of the impression that I got. But those two would probably be the movies that I was introduced to him
Dude,
first. Or go for it.
he's just a good actor, man.
Yeah,
Him in general, he's just a great actor. Even in the Bird Box, I thought he does a he's not a villain. He's just a guy, you know, and he's a regular character in there. But I mean, he does a good job. I see why the appeal of John Malkovich is on cinema. He's got that. I mean, there are some people, and it's funny how I'll tell people when I'm looking for an actor or I want to film something, and I'll tell people like, have you ever thought about doing movies? And they're like, why? I go, you kind of have the face for it. And they're like, well,
yeah,
yeah, I kind of, and he has one of those. I mean, that's a cool thing. Like, there's no real face for movies. Like, it's just you fit into a role I'm thinking of, and your face could work as that character, kind of thing, you know. But to be pleasant and be nice to see you up there and perform. But as we know, acting, I can admit, acting's hard, and to pull it off is tough. But a lot of John Malkovich movies, I think, yeah, I think he's got. I've been looking at his stuff. He's got a lot. I mean, the art school confidential. He's in that. He's got a lot of stuff. Jonah Hex. He's in too much stuff. But if you just get to watch his performance, it's kind of eerie. Not really, but he knows how to kind of leave that little mark on you. He has his own little Christopher Walken feel. He's got his own like Al Pacino thing. He's John. You know, he's John Malkovich, dude. That's enough said. Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen these Red movies with him and Morgan Freeman. You know,
the first one is fantastic.
I need to watch it.
It is great. The second one, it was, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it near as much as the first.
Yeah. Well,
I can't honestly tell you why, but
I need to,
Bruce Willis is in both of those as well.
I want to watch it. That's why I want to watch it. I haven't seen it. It was recommended to me on one of my things. I was like, yeah, I got to watch it. But for the most part, I think we kind of did a little side-by-side comparison with Nutty Professor and Norbit, and now we're moving on to our next one. So as you'll know, we are just kind of playful guys. So we're going to keep talking about movies that we enjoy and maybe movies we don't know of and maybe movies we don't enjoy. We'll just find a way, you know. Like even the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
I like Mos Def's character in that one. But even that movie, I think, is it Martin Freeman? My uncle that's super religious, he was like, you know, he's by the Bible. He's like, and he wants to watch movies. Like, I saw that movie, I didn't like it. And then he watched it again, and he told me, because I posted, I watched it, and he was like, oh, I watched it again. I still didn't like it. And I'm like, well, because you got your religious views like right in front of your face, and they kind of pick at that in that movie. So for you to want to really enjoy it, you're not going to enjoy it. You're already going in with that mindset that you're like, oh nope, I already hated it. Oh. And I like the fact that you said earlier that you kind of have to second yourself when you're like, well, I don't want to go in with the bias. And I think that's the best way to do it, because we're not the same people we were 10 years ago. And then the characters and the actors, when they go through their movies, I don't think so. Is there any role off the top of your head you think you'd want to play? Anything?
Man, what I would like to play? Man, if I was ever to be in a movie, I would want to be like, this is gonna just sound so cliche, but just like that hero character, like that badass, like you said, like a badass assassin or something. Like I feel like I don't have the physique for that, so it'd almost just kind of be like not really like a red herring sort of situation, you know, where I don't know. Like it's okay. I guess the best way to explain it, Kevin James, he had that. What was it? The Netflix movie. It was like Diary of an Assassin or something like that. Just like that would be, I think, a really fun role that I could play. Also, a serial killer. I think I could pull that off very well.
I think so too. I think you pull that off. I will inform you that it is 2020, so every role anyone can play. You can play. Apparently, you can play it in real life too, but we're not going to go there. But I'm going to say in 2020, you can play. It's about the performance, and I think that's what we're going to find out here on all of the stuff. I honestly. And don't worry, physique. Tom Cruise is 5'6", and I thought he was like 6'2" for all my life. You know, even when they told me he was 5'6", like no, he's not. And then he was like, yeah, he's like, no, he's not. You know, it's like, so it's all perception on movies. I'll tell you this much though, when I get on stage with you, and I hope you take this in a good way. I hope it's not a bad way, but I'd come home and tell my wife, I was like, she'd be like, you're in a better mood. I was like, yeah, I was with Chris Farley today. And she goes, well, I was on stage with Chris Farley. I go, the energy Ben brings, it reminds me a lot of, I go, that's very rare. Like of all the acting and actors I've been around, I've never met another Chris Farley. And I just wanted to share that with you.
That's a very big compliment, honestly. Thank you.
On stage, you just remind me. And it's funny because if anybody ever gets to see us on stage, hopefully I totally want that. If anybody, what's up?
Am I
Oh, you're just
Frozen
waving?
2?
No, I'm frozen.
Frozen 2, the sequel.
I can hear you. I can hear you. So we're still good.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So basically, when you get on stage with somebody, you have like an energy you got to share, and it's playful. It's basically throwing an imaginary ball back and forth to each other. And the way when you and I throw a ball back and forth, it's not like catch and throw. It's like, I'm gonna throw this behind my back. Can you catch it? I don't care. I'm just throwing it. And then so here's like, oh, I caught it. I'm throwing it between my legs. I'm throwing it off the wall. Like, we're catching it. And it's like people are looking at it like, look, that looks amazing, but we're having fun. And I'm always like, dude, that's whenever you watch SNL and you get that energy from Chris Farley, I'm just like, that's Ben. I got the
Well,
he's got the Chris Farley energy. The sorry to interrupt, but we did this exercise that sticks in my head. We did an exercise one time, and I think it might have been Improv 3. And you and I got left on stage, and we both bumped into each other with our backs. I don't know if you remember that. And then we started mimicking each other like this, and then we broke into like a couple. It was just like mimic each other, and the way we played it, I was like, how do you just do that? You like run in and then just lock and you go with it. And I'm just like, it's just you got it. You guys, I guess we just have it, or maybe I might be jinxing us. We might never have it again, but I'll just say. I'll say the fact that when it's on stage, it's fun, man. Like, it's cool. So you get to like, I guess you have a character. I'm not recommending or anything, but just maybe I am. But what I'm trying to say is like, I would say when you watch Chris Farley movie, I'd say pretend you're him, and not like say you can become him or better or anything. Just to say that's the kind of energy you have to see match his energy. And I've been doing this for a minute, even though I've finally came out of my show, and I'll say that it's hard to find the energy that you have and to match that and for it to be playful. So, don't underestimate yourself, man. And plus, we're getting older. As we get older, and you work on your brain and your psychology, all this stuff about your life, and you put it into your character, and you can, a serial killer. And I'm happy you brought that up because I want to play a serial killer, and I've been working on an assassin serial killer kind of story. I think I mentioned to you last time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get more into that character, but I'm finding out that I can't just say I'm going to do a character and then show up on set, and I got to play with it. You got to figure it out, and I would say like I would like to do that. I want to do comedy, but I feel like if you go, I mean, I'm going to do all this stuff, but I don't know where to start. But if I'm going to do comedy, it's like I feel like you're putting a target on your back. No. But I think you have to have it. What I'm finding out with stand-up comedians, you have to have that, because if you go do a comedy and they don't laugh or don't laugh the way you intended, it kind of goes. But you got to keep going. I think I learned that from stand-up. With stand-up comedians, they basically do open mics to practice, and they're not the best, and you work your way up to get that special. But same thing with movies. You write a comedy movie, it might not be funny, and you kind of have to learn how to write a comedy movie. And I want to do a comedy. I mean, I want to do them all, but as to just start off, I mean, I always go horror movies. I like horror movies. They're easy to make. They're fun. They're they're bloody. They're crazy. So maybe we can figure something out with you doing a short, and you play a crazy guy, or maybe a serial killer.
I think I'd really like that. I think as crazy as it may seem, I could probably. I feel very confident that I could pull that one off. But kind of going back to what you said earlier, man. Getting on stage with you, it was always easier to act with you, because whenever me and you got in there, I mean, it was almost like I was out of my head. Like I knew that it was almost like a trust fall with you. Like I can trust you, and I can trust that we were going to come up with something really good. And like we were just there. It was just like we were in that moment. There wasn't anything else going on. And so I think that's what made it so easy to do those scenes with you, man. Just because like you said, it was just it just happened. It wasn't it was just very
organic is the word I like to use.
Thank you. Yes, organic.
And I'll say that as we kind of, so you can kind of see our chemistry together on the podcast and on the video. So feel comfortable with each other. So if we're going to do another movie, I guess it'd be the time to pick. What would you like to do? Would you like to go into conspiracy? Do you want to do another side by side? Do you want to? We're figuring this out as we're going, and you're going along for the journey. So we'll when people probably catch on, probably be episode 20, but then they'll have 19 episodes to get to.
Exactly.
But you can little binging. But I think, what would you like to do? And it could be anything. We can just make anything up on the spot. We are improv actors. We can think about this.
Ooh.
We can. I mean, I like following careers. I really do like doing that. I do this on my spare time. I like just movies in general. If they have, like, we talked about the Fast and Furious the other day. I had a friend, I forgot who I spoke to, or I remember, but there's like all those Fast and Furious movies. Like, there's a lot. I'm not into any of that. But I remember seeing the first three and being like, okay, I like them. I've kind of picked at the other ones, but that'd be something to me. I'm not saying that I'm interested in, but I would be interested to know how you got so many damn movies.
Fast Five. If there's anyone that you watch that one. That is a fun movie.
I think that's the one that everyone's recommended, the Fast Five. So yeah. I saw half of number 4, and I haven't actually seen anything of Fast Five. Maybe the ending. I think I saw the ending of that. Like I just saw, but there's something like that. Filmographies are a big thing. I love following actors. I love following productions, or just like productions. Some companies tend to make different kind of styles of movies and stick with them, and you like them. I mean, even like writers, like the Airplane writers. They wrote Airplane, and I believe the National Lampoon series too. And then some of it, or I could be mistaken. Don't take me on that one. But I know maybe the Lethal Weapon movies, and then they also did Basketball. So you have the same kind of feel for those movies, and you're like, okay, I like that. So whatever you like, whatever you can think of, whatever would be entertaining for people listening, for people that they got to hear us kiss each other's asses for a little bit. I like good friends here. We work on that. But if anybody listening wants to any suggestions, we'll see. I don't know if we're gonna come back by the time somebody finds this, but I'm down with that. Trivia, you like trivia? We can find some stuff on trivia. Yes. I basically I'm kind of have the Con Air in front of me, so I'm kind of like looking at it like if it's on IMDb TV, so it's available. I kind of wouldn't mind watching the little Nick Cage. Let's
watch some Nick Cage, and I like the whole conspiracy thing.
Let's pick on some of that. Let's bring some to the table.
So I think what would be fun, especially since you mentioned that with Con Air, if maybe. Oh gosh, I don't want to say like a random movie, but like what would be good? Because like I think it would be fun to just kind of like, because what you did is like a conspiracy within the movie of like a little backstory, almost not even conspiracy, but like a little backstory that we can kind of make up about that movie, why this character acts the way
I mean, I didn't write down a lot of this, but I have. Every time I watch a movie, I always tend to go that way. So I'm kind of like, all right, let me record this stuff and write it down. But I didn't think other people were kind of into it. But the more I read about stuff online, the more I understand that some people are like, oh, we like that. Well, come on, let's share it. And I mean, even like these little, like I kind of want to focus on IMDb only because it has everything on it for us. Don't want to go too far off it, and maybe they'll help us hook us up or something. But even around here, around the web, they have these little people rate movies. Right here is everything coming to IMDb, or they have like users list, trash and comedy. They have there's a bunch of like I don't know that language, but I mean right here there's just a bunch of like we can just keep following Nick Cage. I mean there's The Rock, Face Off, Gone in 60 Seconds. That he would throw.
Yeah, what about Knowing? Where that's literally, isn't that like a conspiracy movie?
I haven't seen it, but I would watch it. Is that the one? I was thinking of Next, the one with Jessica Biel.
Yeah, Knowing's where he sees like these numbers, and then it starts to like be like, oh, this is a tragedy or something, like a plane crashes and it has the same date or something like that.
All right, so are you wanting to do something like that? Are you wanting to go into the I mean, because I feel like the conspiracy theories that I pick are just dumb stuff that I find in movies. Like, okay, I have another one. You've heard of? I like horror movies. You've heard of Jason Voorhees, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So I got one about Jason. Jason Voorhees, and I'm gonna say Jason before 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 2, 3, 4, where he's just him with the mask. And then we'll talk about because he's not zombie Jason at this point, but basically the deaths from 1 through 5, or all of Jason Voorhees deaths, but Jason cannot fight. He cannot fight. Jason Voorhees could not fight. Think about all his deaths. He sneaks up on people.
Yeah.
He gouges you in the face. He gets you off guard. You're by yourself. You're not paying attention. I mean, come on, for crying out loud. There in part 4, there's a girl going to her bike. It's a great kill, by the way. And she's bending over to pick up the bike, and he stabs her in the back. Like, it's a girl. Like, he's a big ass dude. Like, why wouldn't he fight her? You know, he can't fight. Or maybe because he needs to be stealth, but he cannot fight. And then think of, I don't know if I'm going real nerdimism on this one, but on number 9, Jason Goes to Hell, Steven kicks his ass. Steven, the guy in the movie, the nerd in the movie, that the weak link fights him and he beats him up. And then his ex-wife kills him. So it's like, oh, you cannot, like, so that's stuff like that I think about. You know, like, okay. Jason, I want to put down all of Jason, and then he fights Julius on part 8, or Julius, I think Julius. He fights him in part 8, and he almost knocks him off the roof, but he's a zombie Jason, so he knocks the guy's head off. But he doesn't fight back. He doesn't know how to fight. He just sits there, and then Julius's arms are like mangled because he punched the mask the whole time. Like, I don't know why he did that. I would have pushed that mask off and just punched him in the face. The mask is there to protect hockey pucks. Why are you punching it? You know, like that kind of theories. Like, you could have survived. Oh, there's I think I'm doing a plug here. There is a YouTube channel I found that does how to survive movies. So I thought that was pretty cool that they went into, like, this is how you survive this part of the movie. They kind of go through the whole movie, break it down. I don't know if I want to go that further. I just want to do more of a fan appreciation of movies. But, like, you know, Jason Voorhees can't fight. And I honestly think, like It, Pennywise.
Yeah.
He could only stalk suburb kids. He couldn't go to the ghetto or the hood. He couldn't. Like, there's bigger things scarier than Pennywise in those areas. Like in the barrio, he couldn't go to the barrio. My friends would be doing a carne asada, barbecue and drinking beer, and he showed up. They just beat him up, or he'd make him drink with him. So stuff like that, and that's from the horror movie genre. But there's tons of little things I noticed. You can pick X-Men movies. You can pick anything, but I kind of just things I watch, and I'm like, it's kind of silly in my head, but it makes a little sense in reality. You know, just what you know, when somebody writes something, and I'm not trying to also make fun of Jason Voorhees. It's just something I've noticed because, like I said, Zombie Jason does kind of. He never fights with anybody really. He just people do stand up against him and he kills them. So a lot of people can write down all the deaths that he does fight, but at the same time, like the sheriff in part 6, the father, he crushes him, but that was a dumb move. I don't know why you jump on top of somebody you shot with a shotgun. See, that's the thing. Like, now my brain, you shoot somebody with a shotgun and they get back up. Why would you get on top of them? They're gonna get back up. Like, yeah. But I guess also too, man, I've been in some pretty crazy scenarios. Your brain doesn't work. Your brain, like, I'm an outsider looking in, being like, what are you doing? When you're in it, your brain's not working. Stuff like that. I like documentaries a lot. I like watching movie documentaries. But I also just like watching stuff in general. And I'm finding out that I'm kind of a snob when it comes to documentaries. Like, my documentary has to look like a documentary. I can't keep up with it. I think my brain's like that. Like, it's just but also like canon video. I like video of people just like, hey, this is how. There's a YouTube video that's like 1988 7-Eleven. It's just VHS people hanging out in a 7-Eleven, and that's pretty cool to me, you know. But that's not like Blair Witch. That's, you know, it's just stuff in general. But if we were to pick like some kind of thing, let's go with let's do this. Let's pick maybe if you want to do the Knowing or Nick Cage movie, let's pick something that we can watch, like a movie of something. Let's do a side by side, but then let's start adding some conspiracies if we can, because we got to think about them. They can't just. I don't want to make them up on the spot, and I want them to be a little bit more. So let's kind of throw that in the mix. But definitely let's pick something real quick, because I know it's getting kind of late. And let's see. I think
honestly, I think at this point, like, it wouldn't even have to be a Nick Cage movie. Honestly, if we just wanted to pick just a random kind of movie and possibly do a side by side and just compare them, what do you think about that? And then, like I said, I like what you had there with the whole Con Air, like a story within a story. Like, this is why this happens. You know, I do enjoy that, and I think it would also kind of give us new eyes watching a movie too. Yeah. And if we're almost, hopefully it doesn't take away, but, like, you know, if we're watching it trying to look for that, then maybe it'll kind of pop its, you know, kind of look for like the strangeness in the movies.
Also,
but yeah.
Also, there's certain things like landmarks. Like, I like, and I'm gonna Texas, and I love Texas, but there are movies that are made in San Francisco that I just love for some reason. And I've been to San Francisco a handful of times, and I've had great times. I don't know about now; it's a little crazy, but you know, like watching Bedazzled, I like that it's shot in San Francisco, and you know, you get to see like I like Bedazzled a lot. It's one of my favorite movies, the Brendan Fraser one.
Yeah,
Not
spitting
the
glass of jazz.
Yes, eight riches. Even like that. Look at that. They're playing different characters. Oh, maybe we should let's start off with the let's do Bedazzled.
Yeah.
Because there's Brandon Fraser's playing, or so we're segueing from Eddie Murphy playing multiple characters to Brandon Fraser playing multiple characters. And by the way, I'm very sensitive with Brandon Fraser, so nobody talk bad because I met the guy. He's a really nice guy. He's been through
The
some.
Mummy is quite possibly one of. Now, I remember that came out in '99 for a fact. I remember watching that for the first time, and the scene where that mummy came to life scared the ever living shit out of me.
You know what? I like
Yeah.
the fact that the mummy like has to. So now that's another conspiracy, right? And we're getting on this. So the scene where the mummy is kind of taking the attributes of the people that he needs, like he needs the skin and the mouth and all that. Well, he takes the guy's eyes, and this is something I didn't connect in when I watched it because I was a kid. But then I've seen the movie so many times. I saw somebody break the movie down, and I was like, he takes the guy's eyes, so he can't see very well because he takes the guy's eyes with glasses, and then takes the glasses. So he can't see. So when he gets the girl, he's mistaking her for his love. That's why he takes her. I never thought about that. But then at the time, I'm thinking, well, does he heal or is he blind the whole movie? Is that why he can't hit Brendan Fraser because he can't see? Because throughout the entirety of the movie, he's blind. Is it that? Because maybe that's why he keeps her around the girl. He captures her because he thinks it's her. So in my head, I'm like, well, is he blind the whole movie? Is he? See, that's kind of adds another element to it. But I think we should definitely do the Bedazzled. I would. We're still sticking in the comedy world. I like that. I think we should do Bedazzled. If you want, we can compare the Bedazzled, this one from the older one, or we can just see what we like about it. Or a side by side with Bedazzled to me would kind of be with what other movies with a character. I mean, it's a very unique movie. I mean, it's a Harold Ramis movie, which I really like. Did you ever see Year One?
Yes.
Okay.
That movie I did not care for when I saw it in theaters, but the more like after I watched it and kind of saw it again, I was like, this is solid, man. Like,
all right,
yes,
I think
Oliver Platt in that is fantastic.
Yes. He's like the Arab, like the side man, and he's just a nasty, gross guy, and he plays it so well. You know, I think he's
a high priest.
Yes, that's
so,
what it is. Yeah,
we can go down a conspiracy right there.
There we go. Hey, let's do this. I think I'm gonna throw this out there and see what Ben says. Or today he's Benjamin, so I'm gonna say let's do Bedazzled, but not as a Brandon Fraser movie, as a Harold Ramis movie, and then do Year One, because in that one. They're two of his movies, and you're absolutely right. I thought I wasn't gonna like the movie one. I went to go watch it because of Jack Black, so I went to go watch the movie. But as I'm watching it, then it says directed by none other than Harold Ramis. And what did that do to me? As I saw that, I took off my I might not like this hat, and I put on my let's think about it, and I liked that movie. It was so. It's the thing is like. Slapstick movies don't have to be goofy, and this one's a little bit slapstick, but it's silly. But it's not all the way. Even the recurring David Cross character, it's freaking hilarious in that. But it's like a story. So this is basically these two movies are made by the same director, and he has a character go through a journey, which in the other one he has two characters go through this quest, and it shows you how they get there. And it's kind of, if you think about it, Bedazzled. You end up where you started, but you're knowing you're better than where you started, which is weird. And in Year One, you go on this quest where you're not prepared for, but somehow you end up, going through it, still surviving it. Like it's not a task you can't finish. I also like the Cain, the Paul Rudd and David Cross Cain and Abel. Like the fact that it's also like loosely based off the Bible is funny too, because it's like they have fictional characters inside a fictional movie. I'm sorry, I don't hope that didn't fit anybody, but anybody from the Bible is fictional. But if you have those characters in there, you know about them. You know, you have those people that are there. So like I like that too because I know those stories. So when I see that, I'm like, so they're showing like this is how Cain killed his brother. even like when they even stop Abraham from killing his son, you know, like they do stuff like that. So it's like, okay, you know, it's not, it's just it's a timepiece. It's religion in that timepiece was heavy. So, you know, super heavy, not like now, like it was super like crazy. So I like the fact that you kind of get to see this journey, and then the you know the the rags to riches without the hard work in a way, like, you know, and then Bedazzled's the
literally
same.
running into it.
Yes,
You know?
and then like Bedazzled is the same thing. Like you want something without putting the work in, and sometimes without even knowing, the answer is right in front of your face, and you go on this journey, and you realize, oh crap, it's right here. So, you know, I think we're doing good. I think so. So next time we're doing a side by side with Bedazzled and Year One, and we did not start with that. And as you can tell, we're gonna kind of be all over the place. We'll clean it up a little bit, but I like this is the way we work. This is the way we are. We there's a structure to this. I think we're doing it right. But yeah, this is the way we are. I think the fact that we're able to do another episode and we're moving on to another one, you know, keep the wheels churning. I like that, but I honestly think I think we did good. I think we're on the right direction. So I'll leave my
we're on the right director.
Directors, yes. That's a good one. Yeah, like I said, expect the unexpected. But as in going into, I also thought maybe we should do our own rating system. And doing, I haven't really figured out how to rate a movie yet. Like we have to sit down and talk to you about it. But I was thinking, let's just do a standard 1 through, or we'll do. I don't want to do 0, but we'll do a 1 through 10. 1 being the weakest, 10 being strongest. What would you rate the Nutty Professor? And a 10 is your favorite movie. So and a 1 is a movie you wouldn't watch. So like if you give it,
I like this, but I want to be just a tidbit different. How about 1 through 13?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to find we have to find a specific. So we don't have any right now. We have criteria. So I was even thinking like 7 works better. 1 through 7 would be, but we have to find 7 things that we like, that they all everyone like. Is it the, you know, do we like the performance but the movie sucked, or the movie was a bad movie, or the production was bad but everything else was good, you know? So we got to fine tweak this. But I'm thinking let's just do if you want to do a 13, you're going a little too far, brother. But we've once gone to 11 and I'm ready to go farther. Let's go to 13. Okay, so it's 1 through 13, 13 being the best. In my mind, I'm taking it as a 10 is a solid movie, but an 11, 12, and 13 are great movies.
Yes.
So I'll say that. So anything, so what's in the middle? So I guess a 6. Anything that falls between 6 and a 7 would be average, would be in the middle. And then anything in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be, you know, not so popular with us. But we gotta really want to give a movie something less than 5. You know,
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so. I don't want to just label it a 0 or 1 and that's it because I said so. That's how it works. And I said so, and that's how it's gonna be. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna do because I don't know if anybody who's listening, if anybody is gonna listen to this, but making a movie is hard. It's project management, and it's really hard. So anybody that can make a movie and it can be aired or come out anywhere, I tip my hat off to you. It is tough. Even if any movie, even if you're making an iPhone movie, it's just hard. But I don't want to disrespect people, and I rather appreciate. But if I have to disrespect, I'll have to. I'm not gonna hold back. But I'll say.
Well, and I think. I think another thing too is like we're here to appreciate movies.
Yes.
You know, and that's those kind of the idea behind this was to really get an appreciation for movies and try to look at them through a new lens, or give light to movies that may have not gotten a big shining moment.
Yeah.
But yes, I like it. I like it a lot.
I would give an overall call. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go. You go.
Right.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I will give the Nutty Professor an overall quality of a 1 through 13. I would give it like an 8 to 9, around there. Because like I said, 13, 12, and 11 you gotta, like, those are the top movies you like. A 10 and 9 would be a little bit more above average. I feel like an 8 to a 7 is above average, or a 6 and a 7 is average. So I'd give it I give it a 9, because I would give Norbit like a 7. And I wouldn't want those movies to be, no, I'd give Norbit like an 8. Now, so I'd go 9 with the Nutty Professor on overall quality, performance, and everything. I recommend it. I do recommend it a lot. You have to. This is one of those must-watch movies. Norbit, you have to have the taste for it. I have the taste for that. I like it. I would give it like a 6 would be kind of average. I would give it above average. I'd give it at least an 8. I'd give Nutty Professor because also with Nutty Professor is you don't have to watch Norbit. If you appreciate Eddie Murphy's talents and careers, watch Norbit. If you want to watch a silly slapstick break you out of your mood movie, watch Norbit. If you just want something different, watch Norbit. But if you want something tried and true, Nutty Professor will be there for you. It'll make you laugh. It's still good. It's not in my 10 to 13 range, but I like that. I like that I like 13. It's starting to work in my brain now. It's computing very well. And I will say that the 0 through 13 is good. I mean, 1 to 13 is good. I would give it a 9, a solid, strong 9. I give Norbit an 8, not too far from it. I would. They're not really interchangeable, but I would say that I don't mind Norbit. I would not give it a below average because I know all the characters in the movie. I know all the actors in the movie. And as I see Eddie Griffin and the chemistry between just Cat Williams and Eddie Griffin, I love that. That sprinkles more points for me. The fact that when you find out that Charlie Murphy had it right, that puts points in for me. He's actually plays the dog. He comes out in the movie. He plays the dog.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't even hump anymore. How do you think I feel? I can't even hump. I like that. I like that as a film. I'm totally putting this as a filmmaker's view, not as a viewer. So if I were to put as a viewer, maybe I might put a little bit less, but nah, I want to say it's all right. Not all right. I mean, it's good. It's like where I put it. I'm not going to change my answer. It's my final vote. Nutty Professor is a must watch. If you haven't seen Nutty Professor, just give it a watch. I think is it PG-13, the Nutty Professor?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's PG-13. Let me check out with Norbit real quick. I do want to get the ratings out there just in case.
PG-13 for Norbit as well.
So they're both PG-13. They both are a little bit on the stronger side, but I would not. If my son was 10 years old, I would let him watch both movies. My son's only 2.5, so we'll get there. But I think the fact that as I'm just watching the trailer, I mean I like movie posters, and just watching the Nutty Professor movie poster is really, you know what? I just realized something. You have him, Eddie Murphy, as playing a big gentleman in this one, and then he's Vespuccia on the other one, and he's playing a big woman. So he's big characters on both his movie posters, and it kind of works for me. So that's what I have to say about it. Benjamin, what you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to give the Nutty Professor a solid 8. It is, like you said, it's in that range. It's tried and true. I mean, it's a solid movie. You're gonna get the love interest. You're gonna get, the fun, introspective kind of like, oh, this is who I am kind of thing, and kind of coming to terms and that whole thing. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it was fun. The comedy scene in there with Dave Chappelle. I mean,
yes.
It killed, man. It really did. Like, it was literally like watching Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle just kind of rag on each other, and obviously Eddie Murphy's there to win, and just kind of showing who he is and that he is the king, almost. And I thought that was really cool. I'm going to give it a solid 8. Norbit, I'm going to give a 7. I don't want to give it a 6. I think it is, talking to you have persuaded me, sir.
Sorry to interrupt.
You bumped up the score. I probably would have given it a 5. I would have given them probably a 5 before we started talking. But the more, and see, this is why I want to. I like having these conversations too, because you can kind of see value in things that you're like you just kind of brushed off before.
Yeah.
So with Norbit, man, like I said, the one big thing with that is it follows a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I just watched a lot of movies like that, but it's kind of tiring to watch at times. It's almost like it kind of drags through. But other than that, man, like it's funny. Respucia coming in there and jumping on him for every holiday. That's
and
hilarious.
he still lets her do it.
Happy President's Day. I
Yeah,
mean,
Happy President's Day.
how many beds did they go through?
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
and
I
it
mean,
looks good. It looks legit.
yes, and I really like the whole Norbit growing up,
Yeah,
meeting younger Respucia and going and meeting the brothers and everything like that. Which I mean, to be fair on that point too, they aged wonderfully.
yeah.
If she was just a little girl and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, because the
But
brothers do look the same age.
yeah, they're the same age. They just have different
Yeah, their
hairstyles.
hairstyles.
But no, it's a funny movie. Like I said, you get the whole turkey ass thing right in the blowhole. I mean,
Oh,
that's
I was gonna bring that up. I like the fact that they went full circle right in the bullhole because he does it in the beginning and he does it again at the
yeah,
end. And there's just
yep.
two little. They just those two little. There's like a little pinch. Like this is the beginning. This is the end. We're just gonna pinch them together. But there's something stupid, right? Like okay, like he's got good aim. And then as soon as you see him grab the flag, you're like, oh, he's got good aim. So,
So, I thought, like I said, yeah, 8 and 7 for those movies. That's what I'm gonna give on those.
I like that. I like you. I feel especially with me. I use the nostalgia. That always it's hard for me because I've watched so many movies at the theater at the young age. That was my thing to do. But I'll say once you really rip off that for me, the movie doesn't go too far with Nutty Professor. I'm like, nah, I just laughed my ass off. Like
Yeah,
I just the Dave Chappelle scenes, both of them are. It's not even like really. It's because it's so thick and layered that Chappelle wouldn't do that, but he's
yeah,
doing it in a movie. And he gets stomped by Eddie Murphy, and he stomps Eddie Murphy, but it's not Eddie Murphy. It's a character. It's just we got to get into that fan thing of that one. But I like the ratings system too. I like what you just said of 13 because you're right. Because I have those movies that like I actually my favorite movies are I have 3 number ones. So this could kind of
yeah,
help me out with my because if I did the same score for 0 through 10 or 1 through 10, I'm gonna get the same score. But a 13 throws you, in the Spinal Tap they put the 11. You just took it to 13, my brother. He's taking his
Sam.
digital time. We're going to 13. No, I think for Norbit and for Nutty Professor and for Doctor Dolittle, I do, and that's a side note for me because we didn't plan on watching that, but I did. I will say Doctor Dolittle. I don't know. Depending on certain the scenes, I think maybe Doctor Dolittle. My son needs to be at least 8 to watch that one because there's just the lady. And there's just some scenes there where I'm like, the thermometer. I want to make sure, I don't know. I'm not. I wasn't filtered. I just don't want him to be too filtered. I just little things here and there. I don't know. See, I saw that when I was younger. So, but I'll say that all those 3 movies are good. The performances are well played. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself, but like you said, I like the fact that I was able to kind of give you. I don't really want to be an influence on your decision, but if you were to look at it now and be like, but I like that because we're supposed to be kind of enjoying a movie. But then again, man, there's gonna be a movie where you're gonna totally change my mind on, and I'm looking for that. I didn't mean to really do it this first time. It kind of struck gold, I guess, if you want to look at that. But I was just kind of like, man, I've gone through this. I can relate to this, and not to this extreme, but it's something similar. And that's what I'm finding out about stories. Stories are they're interchangeable in a way, but you want to find the right pieces for it. But I'm looking forward to this one, Bedazzled and Year One. I really, and this is kind of cool because we're not picking the movies that Harold Ramis was we're not going with starting off with Ghostbusters. We're not
Yeah,
starting off. I mean, another movie. Then I think it's getting kind of late, so we're probably gonna go in a little
yeah,
bit. But I'll bring up. I like the Orange County. Another
yeah.
Harold Ramis.
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
That
But another Jack Black. I mean, Colin Hanks, one of his first kind of like
I'm
breakout.
without knowing, I'm a Jack Black fan, and I follow him on Facebook, and he's cracks me up. He still cracks me up. But even Ben Stiller is in Orange County, and he has the fireman. He's like, "Do you know how it happened?" Yeah, she was in here, and she was going crazy, and she said, "I'm gonna burn everything out." She said it was an electrical fire. Yeah, that's what happened. He just plays like the Jack Black's there in his underwear, like I'm about to start the revolution. I think it's I like that's a good movie. Yeah, we I mean I don't want to I don't know, I might sneak that one in. But I actually watched that movie a lot when that one came out in 2003, so I was a senior in high school. And when I saw it, I was kind of like, oh, he's a writer. that's how you become a writer. You read books. So that really motivated me to read books, way more books. And I think that's what helped me out a lot on just understanding story. I just started, you know, in order to be a writer, you need to read. And you know, I also, in order to be like a, I don't know, just overall, I like to do that. But yeah, I liked Orange County, Colin Hanks. I mean, there's a lot of actors in that movie. I mean, John Lithgow's character is, what the hell? Like, he's too busy making money. His wife's over there with the gardener. She's all, Leslie Mann she's all touching him. It's not the gardener's just there like, so that's a good one. See, in the Orange County, I've been to Tustin, Orange County area, and it is like that kind of, you know, but it's fun. But we're moving on to Harold Ramis, and we're going to Bedazzled and Year One for the next episode.
Love it.
And we're gonna see if we come up with any conspiracy theories. I can't even say the damn word. I'm tired. Conspiracy theories, and we will, I know I should be better at that. And then we'll see what else we can tie movies in. I mean, because even you brought up I didn't have to bring up the Eddie Murphy, Troy Murphy wrote it. You know, like I like those kind of facts. So maybe we can bring in some more facts about movies, and maybe that'll help us segue into another thing. So right now it's just side by side, but we'll see. I mean, we have other things we can do. But yeah, it's getting kind of late, so we're gonna end it here.
We'll sign off.
So thank you for listening, and for the episode 2 of the Side by Side with Benjamin Garrett, which next week will be known as Ben, and I'm CJ Robles.
You have a good night.
See you guys later.
Goodbye.